everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. And before we dive into today's episode, which is catching up on all things Real Housewives of Miami, the latest episode, Mamacita Madness Part 1, and then also catching up on some of the gossip going around about the ladies, whose husband, wife, spouse, boyfriend, or girlfriend is the richest. We're going to dive into that. And then also what Anna is saying about Adriana's claims. So before we dive in, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. So let's go. So overall, this season, I feel like this season is fun and it's fire. My only concern is I hope it doesn't go too dark with the whole Adriana and Anna versus Alexia and Marisol. I feel that Alexia and Marisol have taken accountability, they've apologized, and they've even changed their ways. So I hope that they don't use what they did last season to make this season dark, because I like the freshness, I like the lightness, I like the energy and vibe of the season so far. And I'm also very much looking forward to part 2 of the Mamacita party. I'm ready for it to pop off. I'm ready to see what's going to happen. I want to see if the alliances are going to shift and change. I am ready for it. So with that, let's dive into each of the ladies. But first, hey, Chocolate Chunks says Happy New Year, Candy Canes. Happy New Year to you, Chocolate. Thank you for being a channel member. I really, really appreciate you. And thank you so much for supporting me, the Candy Canes, and the channel. So yes, Happy New Year to all. All right, let's go. So let's start out with Adriana. So I personally think that she needs to let go of whatever issue she has with Alexia. And she needs to focus all of this energy that she's putting into being in Alexia's face and having Todd's name in her mouth into her own life. Put all the camera time that you're using to go against Alexia and Todd and Marisol into promoting your music career, into dating, into doing whatever you want to do, because I get it that you're a friend of, and I actually think you should be a full-time house member. But the reason why I think they are keeping you as a friend of is because everything that you're doing is promoting somebody else's storyline rather than really focusing on your own storyline. You know, last season you had the music video and you were focusing on your music, and that was great. But I think this season you're too focused on everybody else. Put that energy on you. You know, you were kind of Julia's sidekick when Julia did the opera thing for Martina. And now you're using all your camera time to go after Alexia and Todd. Turn that energy to promoting yourself. So then that way you can be a full-time member. It's giving very dark. It's giving very Bitter Betty. It's giving very scripted. It's giving very time to move on. I get it. You were done dirty last season. You know, they said that you were sleeping with a married man. Turns out that he was divorced. I totally get that. But the reason why you need to move on is because Alexia apologized. She took accountability, and she also changed her ways, which is very rare for housewives. It's very rare for a housewife to say, you know what, I was wrong. I was in cahoots with my best friend Marisol, and I'm going to move differently going forward. So I think you kind of need to let that go. I was thinking that actually, let's talk about the conversation she had with Julia, and then we'll get into what's going on behind the scenes, okay? So obviously the conversation that Adriana had with Julia in the car was very, very scripted and staged on Adriana's end. I don't think that Julia was in on it. I don't think that Julia and Adriana got together and was like, oh, let's talk about Alexia's business. I think that Adriana just thinks that she can always use Julia for her plots and everything and in her schemes, but Julia wasn't on board with it. Now, at first I thought, oh, you know, this must be Adriana being a producer plant and working with Anna behind the show to create mess. But then Anna comes out and said that Adriana was lying about her conversation. Now, if you're not sure, Adriana said that Todd and Alexia were having financial problems, that they were having marriage problems, that they basically ran out of money, his business wasn't doing well, and he had to break the lease, and that's why they were moving out of their apartment. Now, Anna has come out and said, I never had this conversation. So let's see what Anna had to say. So this is according to Reality Blurb. So Real Housewives of Miami, Anna Keen Kokes, hope I pronounced her name correctly, sorry if I didn't, guys, shuts down Adriana's claims of having a conversation about Alexia's husband, Todd's finances with her, and suggests Alexia is protesting too much. Now, the reason why this is important is because Adriana came on the show basically saying, Anna came to me with all this information about Todd and Alexia's finances. I was thinking that, oh, so this is Anna and Adriana coming together to take down Alexia. Anna wants to be back on the show. Adriana is holding a grudge against Alexia. She's very jealous of her. She was done dirty last season. She's on some get back. But the fact that Anna is now coming out and saying this never happened, who do we believe? Let's go through the article and let's read her post, and then we can discuss who do we believe, okay? So Anna took to her Instagram story on Thursday to address her recent on-screen drama with Alexia and Todd, after Adriana suggested she had informed her about the couple's alleged financial troubles on Wednesday's episode of The Real Housewives of Miami. Anna denied discussing Todd's finances while also suggesting that when it came to the forced move that when it came to their forced move from their 10,000 square foot rental, Alexia was protesting too much. Now, this is what's on the screen. This is a screenshot of Anna's Instagram story. She says, "My ears are ringing. So here's what I have to say about that," Anna wrote on December 29th. "I spent decades practicing transactional real estate law. Enough to know the difference between a lender and a realtor. I believe Todd is the latter. Never discussed his finances or how interest rates affect his earning potential with Adriana, period. That being said," she added, "the woman Alexia does protest too much." So she's basically coming out and saying Adriana is lying. We never had that conversation. I never said anything about Todd and Alexia's finances. But then she threw in that shade to be like, but then again, Alexia is protesting too much. So maybe what she said was true, but I'm not the one who said it. So she's trying to throw shade at Alexia, throw her under the bus, and Todd, while trying to keep her hands clean. You see? So during Wednesday's episode of Real Housewives of Miami, Adriana made the claim amid a car ride with Julia. "A little bird told me something in relation to Alexia and Todd, said that they're having some financial issues," Adriana alleged. Then, after naming Anna in a confessional, Adriana told Julia she was besties with Alexia and Marisol, and then they had a huge fight. That friendship ended. So Anna said that because, interest rates are high and Todd's business is about loaning, Todd's business is not doing that well. So Anna said that they are going to have to break the lease on their apartment and leave that place and find another place that's maybe less expensive, she added. Speaking to People last month, Alexia denied reports of financial hardships and blamed the false rumors on Adriana. "They sold our unit, unfortunately, so we had 30 days. Less than 30 days, actually, to find another place and move out," Alexia explains. "That's the thing that sucks about being a renter. It's out of your hands sometimes." Okay, so Alexia is denying the claims that she's having financial issues. Now, this is the thing, guys. This is where I land on it, and put it down below. I want to see what you guys think about this. I think that Anna is lying, in my opinion, alleged. This is just my opinion. I do think that Anna and Adriana had a private behind-the-scenes conversation where Anna was saying that Alexia and Todd were broke. They were having financial problems. His business wasn't going good. That's why they had to break the lease, and that's why they had to get out of the apartment. Now, I also think that in all businesses, any industry, and as we know, Anna and Todd work in this very similar industry in like real estate, lending, all of that stuff, relationships matter. I think the reason why Anna is now backtracking and saying that Adriana is lying is because she does not want her personal relationships and business contacts to suffer for being the source of this type of gossip when it comes to business and finances. You know what I'm saying? Hi, Tay Tay. Tay Tay says Happy New Year, Candy. Happy New Year, Tay Tay. Do you see what I'm saying? So I think that Anna is trying to cover her tracks. That's what I think is going on here. But I want to know what you guys think. Put it down below. Do you think that Adriana made it up and she's lying just to get back at Alexia? Or do you think that Anna is the one who was lying because she's trying to cover her tracks and not get into trouble with her real estate and business contacts? So put it down below and let me know what you guys think. And be sure to like, subscribe, and share. All right. So with that, let's move on to, oh, and the last thing I want to say about Adriana is I think that she's having Lisa's back, not so much because she likes Lisa like that, but it's to spite Alexia, because Alexia was the one trying to give her like marriage advice and all of that stuff. So I do think that she was going up with Lisa just to spite Alexia. And that makes me sad because I do like Adriana, but she needs to let the Alexia jealousy and grudge go. It's very stale and played out at this point. Like, she needs to move on. Hey, Giovanna says, Candy, the source of truth. Thank you, sweetheart, and Happy New Year. That's right, Candy Canes. As you come in, be sure to say hi, drop some hellos, a Happy New Year, however you feel. Mm-mm-mm. All right, now let's move on to Alexia. So I think that we are now discovering more of why Alexia has been so, like, last season, she seemed really angry. And this season, she seems really sad and she seems really on edge, particularly around Todd. Now, remember, people say in relationships, especially marriages, the two biggest things that people fight over are sex and money. Unfortunately, I do believe the rumors that Todd's business is suffering financially. I do think that's why they had to leave their apartment, because I think that if you are renting from someone, you have renter rights. At least in like California and New York, I'm guessing Florida too, you have renter rights that your person you're renting from can't just kick you out in 2 weeks without like something 30 days, whatever in the contract, right? So I do think that's what's going on. And I do think that that explains why there is so much tension between Alexia and Todd, what they're really fighting out behind the scenes. I think they're fighting about finances. I think Alexia feels like it was a bait and switch. Maybe she thought Todd had more money than he really did. Because you can see she already complained. She's like, I had to leave a house to come to an apartment. Well, you knew that before you married him. So did you marry him because you thought that he had all this money and maybe that money isn't what you thought it was? Or maybe he's just going through financial hard times and you're like, this isn't the life that I was sold. Do you know what I mean? Maybe that's a big reason why they're beefing, because you can cut the tension between the two with a knife. And I do believe Adriana, when she said that, Adriana and Lisa, when they said that Todd said that the reason why he didn't go to the party was because he had to figure out his marriage issues. So I think that that's what's going on between the two of them. I think Todd is frustrated with Adriana's unhealthy codependent relationship that she has with her two sons. And I think that Todd is feeling, because I think Todd has heavy masculine energy. So I think the fact that he is, and again, this is alleged, that he is struggling in his finances, that's a big shot to his ego. Because I think men like Todd, who are like provider men, alpha men, really pride themselves into being able to provide and having money and having resources. That's just biological. So I think that if he is struggling in his business, that's a huge blow to him. That's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of embarrassment. That's a lot of stress, right? So I can see that causing a lot of the tension in their marriage. Now, I also think that this is another reason why Todd did that 9-minute social media apology to Anthony. Remember that? How weird that was? And we were like, why the hell is Todd doing a 9-minute apology to Anthony on social media? I think he did that for 2 reasons. One, karma is a bee and has everybody's address. I think that when Todd was speaking against, Anthony and his business, and then all of a sudden Todd's own business started to suffer, he was like, let me clean up this karmic energy. I'm out here talking about Anthony's business. Maybe I need to check my own business. So I think 1, it was karma. He was like, let me clean up this energy. 2, I think it's very similar to what Anna is now doing with backtracking, being like, oh, I didn't tell Adriana about Todd and Alexia's finances. I didn't tell Adriana anything about interest rates. Nope, it wasn't me. I think he apologized to Anthony for the same reason why Anna is now saying that Adriana is lying on her. Because remember, like I said, every industry, I don't care what industry you work in, relationships is your number one power, your number one source of income, your number one source of opportunity is your reputation and your network. And I think that Anthony, as we've seen, is very, very connected in Miami. He has a lot of rich and wealthy friends and business partners. And I think Todd was like, you know what? Let me not make Anthony an enemy. Let me not make Anthony's network of people an enemy, because those are the people that I'm doing business with or will be doing business with or want to do business with. So let me clean that up, because this whole reality show isn't worth the bigger picture of me ruining relationships and my reputation over. Because with or without this little reality show, and not little reality show, but you know what I mean, what's really going to bring in Todd's money and income is going to be his relationships and his reputation. And so I think that's the real reason why I do think he regretted it. Yes, of course. I do think it was genuine. I'm not saying he was being disingenuous. I do think he genuinely was sorry, but I also think he was looking out for himself, which is the case, you know? In any industry, you don't want to be the snitch. You don't want to be the drama person. You don't want to be the person calling people out and exposing people and all of that stuff. I'm not talking about us little content creators over here on YouTube. I'm talking about people in like their actual own industry, right? You don't want to be known as that person. Nobody's going to trust you. Nobody's going to want to do business with you, especially if you affect their money and their bottom line, right? So I think that is what's really going on with them. And you know what, Giovanna, I agree. Todd and Alexia scenes give me Lisa and Lenny vibes 100%. There is something very toxic, unhealthy going on between Alexia and Todd. Some people say it's physical. I'm not saying that. That's a huge accusation. I'm not saying I'm not even saying I think that, but that has also been put out there. I personally think it's more financial problems and Todd being turned off by Alexia's relationship with her sons, and then Alexia being turned off by Todd wanting her to distance herself from her sons, and then Todd's financial problems. You know what I mean? So that's what I really think is going on there. So I want to know what you guys think. You know, why do you think Alexia is really leaving the apartment? Do you think it's because the people that they're renting from sold it and that's why they had to get out? Or do you think, no, it's because they're having financial problems and the lease is a lot of money and they need to sort of, you know, downsize and find something less expensive? I think it's that. I think it's the downsizing. I think it's something less expensive. And I don't think there's any shame in that or there's anything wrong with that. If you realize you're living outside of your means, if your means has changed, the smart thing to do is to then adjust your lifestyle accordingly. There should be no shame in that. I get that they're on the show. I get they're on the Housewives. They have appearances to keep up. I totally get that. But I think at the end of the day, like real talk, if your means has changed, and it doesn't mean your means has to always change. You know, you can sometimes make less money or, you know, be let go on a job or not get the promotion, whatever it is. Doesn't mean that your finances are always going to be like that. But if for whatever reason your means are less than what they used to be, there is no shame in adjusting your lifestyle to now fit those means. That's actually the smart thing to do. Don't go into debt. Don't go broke trying to keep up in appearances, because the people that you're trying to impress, they're not going to help you when you are bankrupt. They're not going to help you when you need food and shelter and clothes. They're not going to help you when you are in debt up into your eyeballs. They're going to laugh at you and talk about you like a dog. Everybody that you're out here trying to impress, they're not going to be the people that are going to be there to help you. Because the real people that are going to be there to help you, you don't have to impress. They already love you and accept you, right? So that's what I think is going on with them. Hey, everybody. Hey, Sierra Contest. Does Alexia look like something off of Whoville Wear? Hey, Rana. Rana says Happy New Year. Happy New Year, sweetheart. Hey, Vaca says Adriana. Whoop, whoop. Haha. Hey, all. Hey, sweetheart. Hey, everybody. Happy New Year. All right. Now let's move on to Gertie. So I love her family, and I'm so happy that she's now currently cancer free. I love the way they handled the cancer conversation with her children. You know, they broke the news off camera and then had their teachable moment on camera, which I really love. I also love how Gertie handled Larsa. You know, she didn't give her an inch when Larsa was diminishing her and talking bad about her and questioning if she even really had cancer. I'm happy that Gertie didn't just cower to her and be like, okay, it's fine. I trust you. I believe you. It's cool. No, she kept her foot on her neck and now she keeps her at a distance. And I love that. I love that because you can't let these people get away with disrespecting you, dismissing you, and trying to clown you and then act like everything is kumbaya. No, thank you, sir. No, thank you, ma'am. No, thank you. I also love the authenticity and transparency that Gertie and her husband Russell had regarding their marriage and parenting. How Russell was like, you know, when you're home, you're still on, and I need you to turn it off. I need you to be present with me and the children. And I loved that Gertie took that to heart. She listened. She didn't get defensive. She didn't argue. She didn't fight. And she changed. And that's another thing that I love about the girls of, well, the women of the Real Housewives of Miami is that they've all had growth on an emotional intelligence level. Alexia has had growth. I know she's going through it with Todd, but with the ladies, she's had growth. She said last season I was really angry. You know, I let Marisol get in my ear, but this season I'm doing it differently. I'm not just blindly defending Marisol. I'm not bringing rumors to the show. She's moving differently because she realized how she was last season. That is growth. You know, Gertie, her husband says to her, you need to, you know, be present with us and turn off the Gertie show when you're at home with the kids. And you see her doing that. She's like, you know, Russell said that. I listened to him. Now we're doing, you know, bowling nights. I'm turning it off when I'm with the family. I'm being more present with him. You know, I love that they are able to take feedback and have self-awareness and accountability and not just say, oh, I'm sorry, but actually change their behavior. And that's beautiful to see. And that's really how an emotionally intelligent person operates. It's not that we are perfect human beings. It's that when we have constructive criticism or feedback, we're able to take it in, understand why this person is saying this, and then change behavior accordingly. That's emotional intelligence, not being perfect, but being able to take feedback and then elevate how you operate with people. And you can see it's helped Gertie's and Russell's relationship and with the kids. And now they had to, you know, face cancer together. So shout out to Gertie for that. I absolutely love that. Yay. Hey, Virgo Queen says, hey, kitty girl, I caught a live. Yay. Happy New Year, sweetheart. What's up? 100%. So I love Gertie. Love, love, love. Okay. Now, Lisa, girl, boo boo. Lisa is another one who has had growth. Let's talk about her growth first, and then we'll get into the other stuff. Now, Lisa's growth has been this scene when Jody says to her, you know, I'm going through a lot too. You know, I'm starting a new business. I haven't started a new business in 12 years. I have a lot going on in my own life. And it would be great for you to check in on me sometimes too. And I love that. I love that he's a man and he is communicating his wants, his needs, and his feelings. He's like, listen, I'm stressed out too. And I need my partner to check in on me. Right. And I loved how she did not get defensive. She did not argue. She did not try to throw it in his face. She said, okay, well, you know what? I hear you and I'm going to check in on you more. And I actually loved how she put it like she set the timer in her calendar, you know, to remind her the little timers, you know, check in on Jody. I think that's brilliant. Larsa needs to shut all the way up with her little fake relationship with Michael Jordan's son. I'll talk more about it when I get to Larsa's side, but Larsa trying to clown her for that. I was like, Larsa, just shut up and go away, girl. You don't even live in Miami. Larsa's whole life is a lie. Larsa lives in Los Angeles for the majority of her time. And then she lives in New York for the other time. She only lives in Miami during filming. Her little condo apartment is just her to film apartment. She doesn't actually live there. That's why it looks so staged. It doesn't look lived in. It looks like a rental because that's pretty much what it is. She just films there. Larsa's whole storyline in life is a lie. So listen up, Lisa. I wouldn't be taking advice from Larsa. I think it's great that you listened to Jody. I think it's great that you took action and to put it in your phone, check in on him, because that's not always an automatic thing. Doesn't make you a selfish person, doesn't make you a bad person. It's just the majority of us are working on autopilot. What we're thinking about, what we're doing. Doesn't mean she doesn't love Jody. Doesn't mean she doesn't care about him. It just means that she's been on autopilot. Like she said, she's like, this is how I've been forever. And now I need to learn how to communicate and do things differently. So Lisa, I thought that was a great moment for her. But also, Jody, maybe you shouldn't be dating a woman who is still in such a messy situation. Yes, they've been separated for a year. Yes, Lenny is doing his thing, but like calling the police and restraining orders and motions and all of this stuff and all of it, like if you need someone who is emotionally available to you, Jody, then you might need to start dating someone who is actually emotionally available. Now, I'm not saying they should break up or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, there's two sides to every coin. I do love that Lisa heard him and then she acted differently. I think that's great. That to me, that was a great example of healthy communication within a couple, right? But also, before getting into relationships with people, think about, is this person in a place to actually be a healthy partner? Because now I'm going to talk about the other side of Lisa. Not that Lisa's bad, not to bash her, because I don't think she's bad. But I do think that, and maybe it's different now, maybe, who knows, Lisa and Lenny are maybe not toxic individually. Well, maybe Lenny is. I don't think Lisa is. But together they are very two toxic people. And I think that they get off on hurting each other. They get off on drama. They get off on it. I do think that Lisa really did love Lenny. I'm not a doctor. I don't diagnose, but Lenny gives very narcissism, ego vibes. I don't know. Maybe he just wanted build a Barbie wife. But I do think Lisa really wanted to make it work and she really did love him. But sometimes when you're with a partner who is toxic and unhealthy, you get addicted to that cycle of abuse. You get addicted to the unhealthiness of it. You get addicted to really, really bad times and they do something nice and that them doing something nice kind of gives you a high. It's like extremes. People who on their own would be nice, normal, loving, healthy people, when they get into these toxic, unhealthy relationships, just like when people, nice, normal, healthy people get on drugs, they get addicted to the high of the dysfunction. And that's what I think was happening with Lisa and Lenny. I think they both were addicted to the dysfunction. Because at the end of the day, if he's off with the 25-year-old, she's off with millionaire Jody, why are they still beefing at the level that they're still beefing? Unless they are addicted to the dysfunction of their relationship and they get a high off of the dysfunction of it. Like anybody addicted to anything. Them on their own, normal, nice individuals. But when they get addicted to the gambling, to the drugs, to the sex, to the abuse, they become completely different people. And I do really think that's what's happening with these people. Yay. Hey, everybody. Hey, Foxy says Happy New Year. Candy and everybody in the chat. Candy, Tom Girardi have been declared competent to test trial. Woo! Thank you, Foxy. Thank you for the news. I'm going to check that out. Virgo Queen says, I wish that we get Lying Larsa off our screens. Damn, I agree. Giovanna says, can we get rid of Lying Larsa and get someone with flavor? I agree. Baka says, I'm loving Gertie and her real story. Me too. Baka says, I want Lisa to talk about something other than relationships she is in. That part, 100%. Dun, 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 dun. I also think Lisa should distance herself from Larsa. I think that she would do much better without having Larsa in her corner all of the time. And like I said, addicted to the dysfunction, Lenny going for the full custody of the children, that is only to hurt Lisa. He's not even raising the children part-time. It's his mom and the nannies. There's no way in hell he actually wants to raise his children full time. It's a power play simply to hurt her. So they're sick. Okay. Now let's move on to lying Larsa. So, like I said, Larsa is no one's friend. She lacks empathy. She was rude to Lisa when Lisa said she was scheduling time for Jody, which I actually thought was really sweet and thoughtful and a healthy response. And this is the thing, Larsa. She's like, I threw a 5-day welcome back party for Marcus. Yeah, that is actually what is unhealthy and psychotic and performative. Lisa putting reminders in her phone to check in on her boyfriend is sweet and healthy. You doing the absolute most in your fake and phony relationship with Marcus is actually what is dysfunctional and unhealthy and weird. Nobody throws somebody a welcome back party after 5 days. And the streets have been talking the entire time you've been with Marcus. Has he been faithful to you? Or is he with you for a come up because he wants to be out of his father's shadow and he wants to be on the Real Housewives of Miami? Because the streets have been talking that he's been messing around with a lot of other people and not faithful to you. And I don't think he's going to marry you with your fake storyline about getting a ring and blah, blah, blah. Girl, stop. Michael Jordan's son has no interest in marrying you. Michael Jordan's son, according to the streets, is not faithful to you. But then again, your whole life is a lie. You don't live in Miami. You live in Los Angeles. You live in Beverly Hills area. That's why you were at Crystal Kongnikov's holiday party. Crystal even said it, that you live close to her, something like that. That's where you really live. You live in Los Angeles, California, the majority of the time. Because remember when you were best friends with the Kardashians? Where do the Kardashians live? They live in Calabasas, California. And then sometimes you'd go to New York for the kids and for Scotty and stuff like that. You don't live in Miami. You film in Miami. Girl, bye. And I'm just really tired of the fake and phony relationship. It's so forced. It's so weird. It's so bizarre. I wouldn't be surprised if Marcus and Larsa are only together on filming days. I wouldn't be surprised. Or for press events. Girl, bye. I'm done with you, Larsa. And I'm really happy that Gertie stayed on your neck and did not just forgive you. And I'm happy that Kiki called you out too for being a bad friend. You used Kiki when you were quote single, and then the moment you got Marcus, you kicked her to the curb. And I get it when people get in relationships, dynamics change, but not in the way that you treated Kiki. Girl, bye. Ugh. And I don't even know why. We need to just get rid of Larsa. We don't need Larsa. We need to have her recast. She's very hard to watch. She's becoming very insufferable. Very, very insufferable. All right. Now let's talk about Julia. So Julia is really fun this season. I'm really liking her. I like that she's stepping out and having her own identity outside of Adriana. And I'm happy that she let the whole Alexia homophobia storyline go. We didn't need that storyline. It wasn't a real one. I'm happy she let that go. That is a great example of do not beat a dead horse that does not exist just to create drama in a storyline. So I'm happy she let that go. And I'm happy that she has Alexia's back when Adriana is trying to do a smear campaign against her. Julia is smart this season. She's really, really smart. And she's not taking the bait when it comes to Adriana trying to feed her, gossip and lies and rumors about Alexia and the other girls. And she's standing in her own. I think that's a smart thing to do. I do think that Alexia and, not Alexia, I'm sorry. I do think that Julia and Martina's marriage is for the better. I do think that they were headed to divorce last season. It seemed like they were living two completely separate lives. They were not happy. And no one can tell me that they really were going to adopt a child. I know Julia's come out and been like, adopting a child is not off the table. Girl, it was never on the table. That was for a storyline. I don't think Martina is trying to adopt a child. Or you, Julia. That was just for a storyline. And I do think that Martina's cancer diagnosis, not that it's a good thing, but in all things, we can find some type of positivity, right? So I do think that out of that, got them to be closer and to realize, hey, I do love you and I don't want to take you for granted, and let's work on the marriage and let's spend the time together. So I do think that that brought them together because they do seem genuinely happier together this season, and I love to see it. I love to see it. Okay. Now, let's talk Dr. Nicole. So my heart goes out to her with her father issues. We know that he passed away a couple months ago, but it's very hard to watch her father be so drunk and high all the time. Let me not say high. I don't know if he's high, but he's clearly drunk. And that's not me. This is like what they actually say on the show when she talks about it. So it's really hard to see her interact with him on camera when he's always drunk and wearing, shades inside and not talking clearly and all this stuff. That must be really hard for her. And then him being like, oh, by the way, I have 2 kids on the way. Oh, and also, by the way, you have 2 half siblings that you never knew about. And then for her to then have to go take a DNA test to see if she has other siblings out there. Like, I know all families can be messy and dysfunctional and traumatic, and they all have secrets and outside babies and this, that, and the third. Like, I get that. Every family, there is no perfect family on this planet. If you say your family's perfect, then you really need extra help because there's no perfect family. Every family has some type of dysfunction. And I'm not being negative. I'm being realistic in a way that we can all empathize with each other. So there's no shame in it. Don't be ashamed of yourself or ashamed of your family. Just understand, obviously there's levels to it, but understand that, there's no such thing as a perfect family. So if your family isn't perfect, just find the healthiest ways to deal with it, but don't feel ashamed of it. That's really what I'm trying to say. So no family is ever perfect, but it's just really sad. It's really sad, and my heart goes out to her. So I hope you're healing with everything, Nicole. And she is pregnant now, which is great. She's definitely pregnant, and she was showing her baby bump off in Aspen. But like I said, I still think that she's going to be a forever fiance, or they'll get married, but it's just for the show. Just for the show. I do think that if Anthony wanted to marry her, and not that he doesn't want to marry her, I think it's that Anthony doesn't want to be married. So I don't think it's about her personally. I just don't think that Anthony wants to be married in general, because I think that if he wanted to be married in general, they would have already been married. They have this beautiful life together. They have a beautiful son, another child on the way. They have oodles and oodles of money. So there's really no reason why they wouldn't be married unless he just did not want to be married. And I do think that if he were to be married, it would be to her, because I do think he really loves her. So I don't think it's personally against Nicole. I don't think he wants to be married. So I think she's going to kind of be that forever fiance. And she's already making the excuses like, oh, well, we have to do this. We have to plan for the baby. We have to blah, 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 blah. Girl, if people want to get married, people with 2 nickels to rub together have 25 kids. They go down to the courthouse. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that big of a deal. So it is what it is. Now, the juiciest question when it comes to Dr. Nicole is, do we believe that she was involved or not involved in the Anna and Adriana ambush against Alexia and Marisol at the Mamacita party? Because she was like, what's going on with Anna? Like, what is the problem? I don't know what's going on. Alexia was very much in her feelings, being like, you know what happened? You do this on purpose. This is really sad. So what do we think? Like, what do we think? Like, do we think that she knew and she was in on it? Or do we think she was blindsided by the whole thing? I think, I'm not sure yet. I'm actually not sure. My gut at first said she didn't know what was going on and she was kind of like a deer in headlights. Do I think she knew some stuff was going on? Yes. Do I think she knew it was to this type of level? Probably not. Do I think that Anna confided in Dr. Nicole about everything going on with Alexia and Todd? No. Did she maybe confide in her something about Marisol? Perhaps, maybe. But I don't think she was involved in an actual plot to set somebody up. Do you know what I mean? Like an ambush type way. I think it'll be more clear after part 2, but I want to know what you guys think. What does your gut say? Do you think she was involved or not involved? I think that she was kind of used maybe as a little bit of a pawn, because I think the two people who really set this up was Anna and Adriana. I think those are the two people who really set it up. Maybe Dr. Nicole was used a bit. Maybe she knew there was some type of beef, but not to the level that Alexia and Marisol responded. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, now let's move on to Marisol. So Marisol, she's growing on me this season. You know, I'm definitely on her side when it comes to the Anna and Adriana drama. I do think that she was being set up. I do think that, and I don't know, is this a popular or unpopular opinion? Put it down below. Let me know what you think. When it comes to Marisol versus Adriana, to me, when it comes to someone that I consider my friend, and I know that Adriana and Marisol have their ups and downs, but at the end of the day, in this context, they're friends, they're housewives, they've known each other for years. When you go behind my back and you engage with an ex of mine that you know broke my heart, you're dead to me. Like that to me, and I don't know, maybe I'm petty, maybe I'm childish, maybe I'm not uninvolved, or maybe I'm just really emotionally intelligent and I know what my boundaries are. But for me personally, you're dead to me forever. And so I'm team Marisol on that one. Because Adriana to be like, oh, your ex was in my DMs and we were talking and he said to me that he never loved you and he was trying to have sex with me. Because that's basically what Adriana was saying. What Adriana said was, your ex was in my DMs trying to holler, trying to get, you know, a little bit of kitty cat. You know, he was trying to like have sex. You know, he was seeing if I was DTF. And I was like, oh my gosh, what about Marisol? And he was like, oh, I never loved her anyway. That's what Adriana basically said to Marisol. Your ex was trying to sleep with me and said he never loved you. This is the thing, Adriana. Why were you entertaining her ex in the first place? I get it. You and Marisol have your little beefs here and there. But at the end of the day, that to me is dirty and is dead wrong. And don't ever expect for me to, I'll forgive you, but I'm never going to mess with you again. Never. But that's just my personality. That's just like how I am. So with me, with Marisol, I'm like, I am you, Marisol, in that particular situation, right? In that particular situation. So I want to know what you guys think. Put it down below. I'm definitely team Marisol on that one. And Adriana didn't really apologize. Adriana was very apologetic when it came to Alexia, when she had talked about Alexia's son. Because I do think she was just talking out of her head when she was like, oh, in Frankie's accident. I don't think she actually meant any disrespect to Frankie, obviously. I think that was more of just like a slip of the tongue. Like you're talking and you're not aware of how it's coming across. So she was very, very apologetic to Alexia. And I do believe she genuinely was just talking and said something that came out in an insensitive way, but it wasn't her heart. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm definitely team Marisol when it comes to that one. Definitely. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. We'll see what happens. I do want, trying to think. It would be nice if Marisol and Julia could reconcile, because they are only beefing because their friends are beefing, not because they actually have a beef. You know what I'm saying? So there is that. All right. So yeah, that is my assessment of the Real Housewives of Miami and this last episode. So put it down below. Let me know what you guys think, and be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So with that, you guys, I found this article that is claiming to break down the net worth of all of the Real Housewives of Miami's spouses and boyfriends. So let's break down each of the women and how much their spouses, boyfriends, husbands, wives are allegedly worth. And as we go through it, I want to know, do you believe it or not? Do you believe it or not? So let's go. So this is according to Sportskeeda. It says, who is the richest member of the Real Housewives of Miami season 6? Net worth, occupation, and all you need to know. Let's go back to this slide first, and then we'll expose what they're saying. And remember, as we go through the article, put down below, do you think that these numbers are right? Okay. It says the cast of The Real Housewives of Miami embrace a luxurious lifestyle, and fortunately, many of them have affluent spouses who can comfortably cover the expenses. Martina is the richest of them all, with a net worth of $25 million. The season premiere of The Real Housewives Miami's features Gertie, Lisa, Julia, Dr. Nicole, and Larsa. It also features friends of the show Kiki, Adriana, and Marisol. The cast assures viewers of a riveting mix of drama amidst the ladies' stylist ensembles and lavish lifestyles. As fans eagerly welcome the return of the Miami ladies on the screen, there's equal enthusiasm to catch a glimpse of their significant others. Nearly all of the wives are married or contemplating taking the plunge this season. So, who is the richest of them all? In season 4 of The Real Housewives of Miami, Julia and her wife Martina made history as Bravo's first LGBTQIA couple on The Real Housewives of Miami. Martina's upcoming journey in season 10 will focus on her courageous battle against 2 cancers, stage 0 breast cancer and stage 1 throat cancer. Celebrity net worth, and now let's reveal them. Okay. Celebrity net worth indicates that Martina is a celebrated tennis player and coach, boasting an impressive record with 18 Grand Slam singles titles, 31 major women's double titles, and 10 major mixed double titles. Currently valued at $25 million, Martina has reportedly earned an additional $20 million through various tournament prizes. So, would that be a total of $45 million? Or is that 25 million including that 20 million? So they're saying Martina has the most money. Hailing from Prague, Martina embarked on her tennis journey at a young age with her stepfather as her initial coach. At 16, she debuted at the United States Law Tennis Association, marking a crucial step toward the legendary status she would later achieve. Throughout her career, Martina faced challenges, including living in exile in the US from 1981 to 2008 due to restrictions imposed on the Czech government, which stripped her of her citizenship. Oop. In 1986, she secured her place in tennis history as the second player to achieve 1,000 victories. Although officially retiring in 1994, Martina made a brief comeback in 2000, participating in double games before retiring for good in 2006. Now, the more net worth. While each member of the cast can comfortably afford their own martinis, their significant others are also thriving financially. Here's an overview of their worth. Now, this is claiming that Russell, and Russell is Gertie's husband, is worth $4 million. $4 million. While many of the Real Housewives of Miami fans are familiar with Gertie's high school love story with Russell, the couple has certainly evolved since their school days. Russell, Gertie's husband, holds the esteemed position of a fire captain in Miami and is reported to have a net worth of $4 million. In 2014, the Miami Herald recognized Russell as one of the top earners of that year, and it appears that his income has continued to rise since. Now, let's move on to Dr. Nicole's fiance. Anthony Lopez stands out as one of the more controversial husbands in the friend group, perhaps unsurprising given his profession as an attorney. Anthony serves as the CEO of your insurance company in Miami. As stated on its website, the company is dedicated to offering robust representation and leveraging expertise to fight on behalf of clients. They promise and ensure clients that they will receive what they are entitled to. Now, this is claiming that Anthony is worth $3 million. So this is saying that Anthony is worth less than Russell. Now, not to compare the two, but given all of the decadence and lifestyle that Anthony and Dr. Nicole display on the show, They have their private jets, and they have their yachts, and they have their multi-million-dollar homes. The home that they were living in, they sold it to Jeff Bezos's parents. We know billionaire Jeff Bezos sold it to his parents for like 40, 50 million dollars. I don't know the exact number, but it's like something up there, something crazy, right? So do we think this is right? That Anthony is only worth 3 million? Now, this is my question. Is it Anthony worth 3 million versus his family being worth more money because people were saying, "Oh, Anthony comes from money," or is it the business is worth more but only his personal net worth is 3 million? Or do you think that these numbers are off? Remember, this is from Celebrity Net Worth. It's from Scott this article that we're reading from. So, take it with a grain of salt. This is what is out there. I personally think that Anthony's personal net worth is worth more than $3 million. And I don't mean that to compare it to Russell, because I think Russell is a great man. I think he's a great father. I think he's a great husband. And I think that he provides very well for his family. So I'm not comparing the two. I just don't think that Anthony is only worth 3 million. Not the life that they're living. I think maybe Dr. Nicole herself is worth 3 million. She's an anesthesiologist. I think maybe her net worth is 3 million, but I think that his is way, way, way higher. Way, way higher. But yeah, we'll see. Now let's move on to the next ladies. All right, here we go. Okay. Now it's saying that Stephen McNamara, who is Marisol's husband, spiritual husband, they're not legally married, spiritual husband, is worth 6 million. So it says, despite Marisol's retirement from her PR and events agency, the patent firm, her husband, Stephen McNamara, continues to thrive in his professional endeavors. Stephen, who tied the knot with Marisol in April of 2021, again, that was a spiritual ceremony, not a legal one, is reportedly worth $6 million. He serves as a contractor and holds the position of president at Anzac Contractors, Inc. According to his LinkedIn profile, Stephen funded the civil and highway heavy construction company in 1983. Now, when it comes to Stephen, okay, who cares? Like, we don't see enough of him to be that invested. We don't really see his lifestyle like that. Stephen seems a little off to me, like a little weird. I don't know if he's just like eccentric or what, but he seems he has like a quirk to him. Not in a negative way, but it's kind of like a quirk. Maybe it's a $6 million tick. Who knows? All right, now let's move on to Marcus Jordan. As we all know, Michael Jordan's son. And it's saying he is allegedly worth $1.5 million. Now, wouldn't Larsa have more money than that? With her OnlyFans and her alimony from Scottie Pippen. Unless Scottie Pippen doesn't have as much money as we all think he does. Anyway, Larsa's partner, Marcus Jordan, debuted on The Real Housewives of Miami in season 10, but his and Larsa's relationship became a focal point during the season 9 reunion. Despite the attention the couple revealed in November of 2023, that they have already started discussing wedding plans. Marcus and Larsa are not getting married. Stop lying. With a net worth of $1.5 million, Marcus is an entrepreneur and founder of the Trophy Room Sneaker Boutique. It pays tribute to his father, Michael Jordan, in his iconic basketball career. Marcus and Larsa also collaborate as podcast hosts on separation anxiety. Again, I am so tired of this fake and phony Marcus and Larsa romance storyline. They have a podcast now. He has a shoe line. Like, that's the thing. And he said this out of his own mouth, that he wanted to step out of his father's shadow. You're lying to yourself. Because number one, if you wanted to step out of your father's shadow, maybe you don't start a company that literally pays tribute and homage to your father. It says Trophy Room Sneaker Boutique pays tribute to his father. So you want to step out of his shadow, but your livelihood is based on his legacy. Make that make sense. Second, you want to step out of your father's shadow, but yet you are, quote, dating Larsa Pippen, who is the ex-wife of one of your father's closest friends and ex-basketball player friend. What are they called? Not coworkers, but co-athletes together. They're on the same team together. Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan are close. They're seen hanging out. They're seen, all this stuff. They did basketball together. So out of all of the women literally on this planet, not just on this planet, but out of all of the women that you have access to, being the heir of Michael Jordan, you have access to a lot of these Instagram type chicks. Out of all the women you have access to, you thought the best way to get out of your father's shadow was to start sleeping with his best friend's ex-wife? Boy, bye. Marcus, you don't need to be on a podcast. You need to be in therapy. I mean, deep therapy. For someone who says they want to be out of their father's shadow, everything that's, quote, someone's manhood, their career and their money, and the, quote, woman that they're with is 100% in the shadow and directly related to your father. That's some Freudian stuff going on there. You need to be on somebody's couch, not on a podcast with Larsa. Marcus, get your life together. Okay, let's talk about Todd. So according to this, it's saying that Todd is worth $10 million. Well, they're saying he's having financial problems. They're saying his business isn't doing good. Who knows? So it says Alexia husband Todd is the often composed counterpart in their relationship. Or the composed counterpart in their relationship. This dynamic could be due to a successful role as the president and founder of the real estate investment company Current Capital Group. Multiple reports indicate that Todd's net worth stands at $10 million. Well, I mean, this is the thing. If Todd is worth $10 million, why doesn't he own a home? I'm not saying he has to own a gazillion-dollar house. But I'm pretty sure if your net worth is $10 million, you own at least one residential property. But he doesn't. Because in last night's episode, or the last episode that aired, the reason why Alexia is so stressed out is because they were renting their apartment. And she said, out of her own mouth, Todd, quote, doesn't believe in buying apartments. He buys commercial property. I've never heard of any financially savvy person say don't buy residential real estate. Maybe there's certain times to buy it and certain times not to buy it, but not that in general you shouldn't buy it. Because as we all know, property, whether it's residential or commercial, is one of the quickest way in America to build wealth. So the fact that Todd does not own a single home is suspicious to me. Even like a rental property that he just rents out, or especially because he works in real estate and lending and all of that stuff. And they saying he's worth $10 million. The fact that he doesn't, not even like a summer house, like why would it be that if, let's just pretend that what she's saying is true. They were renting this apartment, the owner sold it, and they need to leave it. And if they don't leave it, they're going to be homeless because they don't have any other place to go. Somebody who is worth $10 million, that doesn't make any type of sense to me. There are people who are worth way less who own a home. My family owns homes. And at the current moment, we're not worth $10 million. Not the current moment, but one day, manifest it. But you know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying. I'm just being cheeky, but you get what I'm saying. Not a single property, that's suspicious. Okay, let's move on to Jody. Now, as we know, Jody is the long-suffering boyfriend of Lisa. Poor Jody. Admitted challenging divorce from her husband of 13 years, Lenny, Lisa confirmed her relationship with Jody in February of 2023. Jody is the founder and CEO of Intro Hive. Market Realist notes that Glidden's company specializes in AI-powered SaaS technology. SaaS is software as a service. assisting companies in organizing their CRM data. And that's probably customer relationships something data. Jodi's company is thriving with a reported net worth of $10 million. Is the company worth $10 million or is Jodi worth $10 million? They need to specify this. Anyway, The Real Housewives of Miami latest season aired on November 1st, 2023. And you can watch the rest on Peacock. All right. So do I think Jodi is worth $10 million? Maybe. I think Jodi does have that money. I think he has that new Silicon Valley type money. But I want to know what you guys think. Put it down below. Do you think that these numbers are real? Do you believe them? Is Martina worth 25, Russell 4 million, Anthony 3 million, Jodi 10 million, Todd 10 million, Marcus 1.5, and Steve 6? Put it down below. Let me know what you guys think. And before you do that, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So I'm going to drop the link in case anybody wants to come up and chat. All right. And yeah. So yeah, if anybody wants to come up and chat, come on up. But if not, I'm going to take some more candy cane questions in the comments. All right. So SW says, it is not that suspicious when one does own commercial real estate that produces income for him. There are different avenues in real estate investing. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying that owning commercial real estate, it is suspicious for someone who has allegedly who has a lot of money not to own a single home. I'm not saying they're using that home to generate income. I'm saying to live in. I don't think anybody who has true money coming in like that would put themselves in a position to be homeless. Obviously, I'm not saying Alexia and Todd are like homeless people. And obviously, I'm not speaking against homeless people. You guys know me. I'm not by any means. But it is suspicious for someone with that level of money to not own a home. Doesn't mean that home is making them money, but not to own a home. And I agree with Ametista Rose. She goes, not being homeless is worth the investment in a home. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to SW. Happy New Year, sweetheart. Thank you for your comment. Shout out to Ametista Rose. Happy New Year, sweetheart. Thank you for your comment. I appreciate you. Hi, Jacob. Happy New Year, sweetie. Jacob, you can share whenever you want. Oh. Hey, Natasha, you can share whenever you want.
Hey, oh my God. I like set the note. I didn't get the notification and I set it and I'm so mad. I missed like the first part of it,
Oh no, it's okay.
but I like caught the end about like all the wealth stuff. And I definitely think Anthony is worth more. I wasn't familiar with the whole history of his family though, so that's kind of interesting. Poor Jodi is definitely like hanging on by a thread. Like he is such a trooper. Like God bless him. Poor little sweetie. Like, oh God. And I feel like he's like might be looking for a way out as we speak. I hope not, but like, come on. There's only so much a person can take.
It might be a little karma too, because they were saying how he was, you
Yeah.
know, engaged one day, and then the next day he called off the wedding, and then the next day he was in page 6 with Lisa.
So what do you think that is? Do you think he has a little thirstiness in him? Or was he always like pining for Lisa and then like saw an opportunity and just like jumped?
No, I don't think it's personal. I don't think it's about him pining away for Lisa. I think he was always kind of
An opportunity?
No, I don't think it's opportunity because he's the one with the money. I think she saw opportunity to him. I think it's more of he was always this sort of weird guy, dork,
like,
kind of geeky, kind of like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The guy who couldn't get the girl. And then,
he got money now.
He got some money. And then, you know, he had the girl that he was with and she was great. But a lot of times when men come into money or they finally have quote unquote success, they drop the girl who got them there for the new chick. I think it's more that than anything else. Because,
it's like the level up weird thing.
Yeah, because he was working at like a Best Buy type situation, and then he started his company, and then the company blew up.
Yeah, can you imagine if he was one of those Geek Squad things?
Exactly. It was more like that. It was like that. Hey, Jacob, Happy New Year, sweetheart.
Happy New Year. Can you guys hear me now? This stupid thing. I don't know what it was doing.
Yes, we can hear you.
Those net worths, I was like, please.
Right.
I don't know.
Martina seems right.
No $4 million.
As a firefighter?
Probably.
No.
Right, exactly.
What million? Like, you don't make seven figures as a firefighter.
Right. I do know this. I do know that Russell owns his home. I do know that. Because I looked it up. He owns his home. Todd
that part, Jacob. You see, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you're not gonna sit here and tell me that Todd is flush with money and they don't own a single residential property.
I'm sorry, that's very strange to me. I've never heard of that.
So it was interesting when now the way that I took it when Alexia was saying, Todd doesn't think it's good to buy. I took that as, because this was filmed, 6-8 months ago, when interest rates were even higher than what they are now. So I took that as like, now's not a good time, because it truly wasn't a good time. But I think that but I do know that commercial property is and was back then super cheap, because obviously work from home and no one can get their employees to come back. So the value plummets when it's not really rented for commercial. So I was like, okay. But that's also why his company probably is not doing so well at the moment. So that, that made sense to me. But I also think it's because I was like, does Todd own anything anywhere? And he might. I just couldn't find it. It doesn't look like he owns anything in Florida, at least. It doesn't look like that.
And see, I agree with like not buying residential real estate at certain times, depending on the market, depending on the interest rates. But we have to think about Todd has been this quote businessman for years to have never bought a residential property. Not saying he should buy it 6 months ago, but
just to live in.
But to have never. That's my whole thing.
Yeah.
That's
really
what I'm saying.
weird.
That's where I'm like, this is a little bit suspicious, because normal, everyday, average middle American people, they might have a mortgage, but they own their home. They're going to their 9 to 5. So for someone who works in real estate and he is presenting to having all this money to not own a home is weird to me.
It is true. It is a little strange to me.
You know what I'm saying?
I do think his company is real. It's like a real company. I was like, is this fake? Well, like when he first came on the show, I was like, uh-oh, what kind of money is this? Seems like real money to me. But I don't know. I would like to know how much they were paying in rent for that apartment, because I looked up that listing and it sold for $10.5 million, and I'm like, how much were they paying in rent?
Didn't Alexia say like $40K?
Well, that's what they want to spend, and I'm thinking, is that a downgrade? Is that a downgrade? Because I looked up other listings in that building, because I'm like a psycho, so I was like, let me look at some of these other ones. And some of those rental listings, so I looked it up. The same apartment on the 19th floor, because they're on the 52nd floor. Okay. The 19th floor was rented, I don't know, last year or something, for $30K. So if you're on the 52nd floor, that's got to be 55 plus, right?
100%.
So I'm like, is 40,000 a downgrade? Probably. But Alexia's used to that money. Alexia is used to it. I mean,
she is. Because did you catch how she was real slick with it when to Todd? She said, "Yeah, and I already had to move from a house to an apartment." So she slick was like, "I already had a downgrade for you."
Oh, she needs to stop that.
Did you see? Did you hear when she said that? She was real slick with it, and I was like, "Ooh, they fight! They are fighting. The girls are fighting."
No. And when she said that, I literally gasped, because I was like, "What? How?" Because I hope she's not talking about when she lived in Herman's house.
Right.
Because that house was only worth like $3 million. Only. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, what are you talking about, Alexia? Like, she's like stupid. I just don't understand her. I don't understand it. I had to downgrade from a house to an apartment. Girl, you're in the sky. That apartment is twice the size of that house. And you know why she had to move out of that house? Do you remember when she sued Herman's Sons for that house?
Is that the lawsuit she was talking about that she lost?
Yes.
Oh,
She sued.
Girl. She had me
sued
thinking that she was really going through something.
She sued Herman's Sons for that house and for this Maserati. And she swiftly lost, which I was a little surprised at, just because I did look into the case a little bit when it was happening. And what they were saying was that Herman put in their prenup that she would get the house in the event of his passing. So I thought it was a little weird. I don't know what happened.
Do we think it was a will issue? What trumps? Does a prenup trump a will, or does a will trump a prenup?
Well, what might trump all of it is the fact that Herman was city council president at one point. Oop. And I think that his sons also, know people.
Well,
and
there
I
you
think
go.
that can
there
trump
you go,
any
Jacob.
will. I think that can.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that they know judges. I'm sure they know a lot of people.
You were in the right place, because you got me right when it comes to that stuff. 100%. Who you know,
right. So I'm like,
trumps it all.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Hey, Chels. 100%.
Oh
hey,
my
Candy
goodness!
Girl.
And then another thing.
Hey.
Who's that?
Oh, we have Chels and a Tusky. But
cool,
Jacob,
okay.
you can continue sounding off, and then Chels, you go after Jacob.
And another thing with Alexia, because her life is quite literally, since I was just thinking about her right now, her life is quite literally a soap opera. Oh crap, what was I going to say about her? Oh, about the accident, about Frankie's accident. I want to ask you this, because I have to ask a friend this too, because
I love how you
about
cleared
this accident? Yes.
He goes,
because what do we know about his accident? Not much, except for that he was 13 and that he was in the passenger seat in his friend's car. So I was watching the episode today, and I was like, who's the friend? Like, what friend at 13 do you have that
drives,
is owning a car? So I was like, okay, weird. And then I did some digging, and I was like, how interesting that after the accident, Alexia. So do you remember when Alexia was saying, Peter was so distraught and that he wanted to take his own life? And I said, why would he want to do that?
Driver.
Well, I looked at a bunch of articles. Everyone just said a friend was driving, a friend. And I was like, whoa.
He would have been named.
Well, Alexia, after that accident, sued the insurance for $2 million. And I said to myself, why is she doing that? If it was a friend's car, like, who's she suing? Like, why is she suing? Like, she was suing for the payout.
Yeah.
The insurance company was supposed to pay her out. But why would the insurance company pay her out if they were in a car that was not insured by them? So I was like, uh-oh. And Peter, at the time, was still young enough to be on his parents' insurance. So in my head, I'm like, was he drunk driving?
I don't know. I think that
this is just my theory.
You can sue an insurance company for a payout, even if it's not your insurance company. Like, if that insurance company, like, say I'm driving in my car and I get in a car accident and the other person's insurance company doesn't want to pay me what I should be paid, then I can sue that insurance company and take them to court to get the money. So you can sue somebody else's insurance company if they're being shady and don't want to pay you. But what I think is super interesting about what you said is the whole, like, a friend. It seems to me like she was protecting Peter. the way she always has. And
Always.
and I think you hit the nail on the head, and such a great insight when she said, "Oh, he wanted to take his own life." Why would you have that level of guilt unless you had some type of role in what happened to him?
Right. I was like,
whether you were driving the car or whether you were under the influence and and it was like you and your friends and you made him tag along, or he wanted to tag along and you shouldn't. There's some level of involvement because you feel guilty for the role you played and what happened to him, and that could kind of explain why Peter is such a hot mess now. You know, all of the drug use and being super aggressive and violent, and the coddling of Frankie. And I know he has
he has brain damage.
The brain damage, right? But there's still a level of coddling with that, because there are people who have brain damage and issues that you still give them certain levels of independence, which we now see she's doing. She's doing it now, like the therapy and him being in the group and all of that stuff. But I do think you're onto something with that.
What's Peter and Frankie's age difference?
I think
he definitely would have been 16 plus over 13, so he'd be 17. Yep, that makes sense. I mean, allegedly.
Yeah. I think he's 4 or 5 years older. I'm not at all surprised that, she coddles them because, I mean, I'm not Latino, but I know that that's just how it is. The boys are worshipped, and that's fine and all, but not when, you're uploading a video of yourself punching a homeless man and and beating up your girlfriend, like
yikes.
I just wanted to say that because I was like, what is going on here?
No, I think you're onto something. I really do, because why else would he carry that level of guilt?
Yeah, it's creepy.
It is creepy,
and it's going to impact you for the rest of your life, and you can see why there's behavioral issues.
Yeah. That's
sad. So sad.
He just has, like, when I look at Peter's scene where he's like looking for furniture, something just stood out to me. Like, he just seems like he's just like a drain. His soul's drained from him. Like
he looks very disheveled, right?
The way he talks too, there's like no like umph to his voice. He's just like, like, you know what I mean? There's absolutely like no life in him, and it's just weird. I don't know.
No, it's true.
And he totally let himself go. That guy was so handsome when he was younger, I remember.
True.
And then all of a sudden, like, you can tell, like, even his body, he looked kind of like sloppy. Like, he clearly doesn't work out anymore. He let his hair go. He's talking like he just smoked weed for 48 hours straight.
He probably
did. You know what I mean? It's just like, the boy needs some help too. And like I just want to shake Alexia and be like, you're coddling them. You think that you're helping them, but you're actually hurting them.
It's too late.
And it's really sad. I don't think it's ever too late for anybody, but he really needs help. Like, maybe only Jesus can help him now. I don't know, but he definitely needs a therapist too.
Someone else is here. Who
Hey, Chels, you want to sound off?
Hey, y'all.
Hey. Chels?
Hello.
Hello.
Uh-oh.
I know. Did we lose you?
Was Chels the one that was like fixing a flat tire one time while she was talking?
What?
I was like, okay, single independent.
Right. Maybe she'll come back.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right, we'll just keep chatting, and Chels, chime in when you're here.
Also, you know who else's life is a soap opera? You know Julia's life is a soap opera, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And you know
That's a blockbuster film, not soap opera.
Right.
The guy that she was with, like, allegedly hired someone to,
it was giving James Bond her life. Like,
no, it's not giving James Bond. It's giving, like, horror story. But the guy that she was
it's
with
like James
hired
Bond horror movie.
No, wait, no, like the guy that she was with allegedly hired this woman to kill her baby.
Yeah,
right.
That's not James Bond. That's like
Maximilian.
Marianne's, like,
right.
That's like a scary demon.
Rosemary's baby.
Yeah,
but you know what happened to him?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, I'm sorry, guys.
The woman that he was sleeping with ended up murdering him
while he was in a full latex situation.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know how she only did 5 years. But yeah, I was like, oh my goodness. But he was a billionaire.
Yup.
A billionaire.
Well, that's
and
the
you know
thing.
what the press said?
What?
The press called him a sex connoisseur. I was like, what does that mean?
Listen. This is what I low-key think about Julia. And you guys know I'm very liberal, so I don't mean this in a derogatory way.
That's what I think.
I think Julia is very much a person who decided that she was going to trade her body for money. Like, she knew what she was doing, Julia.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, she knew what she was doing. She wasn't having children from billionaires and bagging Martina for $25 million and being all of this stuff by chance. You know what I'm saying?
She's about that money.
She's about that money. And that's why she had that look at her face.
Well, I think.
She played it very well. And that's why she had that little smirk when she was like, no, there's no prenup. Talking about Martina. When she had that smirk on her face.
Right.
Julia is nobody's fool. She knew exactly how to work it and twerk it and do what she had to do to get what she wanted.
And yeah, you know, all of her kids are by different men. The youngest, so I read something recently how she said something like how she doesn't talk about the older daughter's father, but she did name the younger daughter's father. And it was I can't remember his name, but he's president of some company based in France that does retail and some other stuff. I was like, oh God, another billionaire?
Yes, that's why she can't say the name of her first baby daddy.
Probably.
Because he was like, no, you're not getting me in this mess, girl. I know how I got you. No, thank you.
True.
I think Julia knew who to target and what she wanted to get. And no shade to that, girl. Live your best life. Do you. Glow all the way up. Give me, you know.
Yeah, she does not play when she chooses who to make a baby with.
No,
right.
And that's why she was caught making out with the dudes at the hotels. Because even though Larsa ain't,
I believe that too. You're right.
Larsa is just like Julia. Game recognizes game. You know what I'm saying? Larsa knows the deal.
She's like, I see you. I know
She's
it.
like, I see you. She's like, oh, you want me to give me some tips and tricks over here? Game recognizes game. Larsa's the same way.
She's like, I like your moves, girl.
That's how you think she babbed Scottie Pippen. Why do you think she was hanging out with the Kardashians? Why do you think she's screwing Michael Jordan's son? Not out of love.
Why's she gotta be screwing?
You see what I'm saying?
Oh, she's back.
Wait, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, yes,
girl. Much better.
Much better. Sound off, sweetheart.
Do I have static or anything? I think.
No, you're good.
No, you're good.
Loud and clear.
Normally I have my AirPods in and like it's not a problem, but I think I was just having some difficulties. But hey, y'all, Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Happy New
Year! I just say like I miss chiming in with you, Natasha and Candy, and then Jacob. I haven't been on like the panel yet with you, but you made some good points that like I had no idea. Example. I didn't know that Alexia, she was trying to get like where she was trying to get the house from her ex-husband's sons.
I didn't know that either.
I did not know that. And so somebody else made a good point. Like Alexia married a whole drug dealer. Like she doesn't, you know what I mean?
She sure did.
Like
she sure did.
Alexia is with the ish. So
and
I thought that was like
it was the 80s.
Right?
Those Miami girls were not playing in the 80s.
They were not playing.
But you know that man is on a certain list, right? A certain list.
Yes. Oh, really? I go yes,
but
then I'm like,
list.
I wouldn't be surprised, but I think I missed. I don't know if you talked about it, Candy. What is the tea? Because I have watched Miami from season 1, like the beginning, and when they said Anna, I was like, who the hell's Anna? And then when they showed her face, I was like, oh my God, Anna. I cannot remember the beef between
me too.
Marisol,
I'm so glad you're asking this.
Anna. I was like,
it was all off camera years later.
Yeah, what happened? I've been meaning to ask this too. I'm so glad you said that.
Well, did you guys watch that interview? She said a lot.
With David?
She's something else.
With Anna?
Her daughter was like chiming in hardcore.
Her daughter was on there as well, talking. They were both talking all.
But what started it? Yeah, what did that happen?
What happened?
Well, because Anna claims that they weren't real friends with her. She thought that they were real friends, but then they weren't. And then she, because Anna was no longer on the show for season 3. So they were like, we don't need you. That's what she says. And then she went off saying how Marisol, has someone write her reads for her.
But didn't she say she's not on the show because, like, she wasn't on the next season because of Marisol? Something happened. Like, Marisol specifically did something that I don't know that, like, really, like, made it so she couldn't be on the season. Like, that's what I heard. But I don't know.
I don't remember that.
Me either.
All I do remember from that interview was her saying that, yes, Marisol has someone write her reads.
I remember she said that one, yeah.
Yeah, and that according to Anna, that she was not really there with her mom during her last few months of life. I don't know how true that is. I don't know how she would even know that. And she also said that, yes, Alexia did tell Nicole that Marisol's with this man for a storyline. That's what she claimed.
Oh, that's right. Her spiritual husband.
I feel like Alexia said that on camera almost, remember?
She
kind of said something like that. I remember.
Right.
I do remember that too.
Anna says that Marisol's just pretending to not believe it so that she can be on the show and have a storyline and have an ally.
I don't know, but I'm here for Adriana. Like I sense that she has some jealousy.
Oh yes,
she could be,
and Nicole knew.
Can be petty. She could be petty and really bitter sometimes, but I like her. I really do, and I don't like how they be.
Adriana hates, like, always is super jealous of people that are like have something that she wants. Like she was gunning for that Polish model girl. Why do I forget her name all of a sudden? Joanna. She was always gunning for her, and now she's gunning for Larsa but I kind of understand the annoyance of Larsa. It's like the unspoken thing. Like, okay, girl, what are you doing? You know?
She can gun for Larsa. Anybody going for Larsa has a green light.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Hey, Bambina. Brenna.
Bambina.
You mute it yourself. Well, when you're ready, unmute and chime in.
I've been missing a good candy panel. I love this.
I know. It was the holidays. I was like, y'all, I'm relaxing.
I love y'all. It's such good vibes up in here.
Yeah, always.
And you know who else I think knows stuff that I don't? So I think Kiki knows a lot more about Lenny and her affairs. And
me too.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Her comments, I'm like,
yes. During that last reunion, I was like, oh. And I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if Kiki herself look.
Because she's a model. She was in the scene.
I wouldn't be surprised if she herself hopped in bed with Lenny. I wouldn't be surprised.
I think they have like sex parties.
Yeah.
Like I think the parties that they're referring to at Lenny's, they make it seem like
lingerie parties, but no.
I think like the optics of it, they make it sound like, oh, he's having all these parties, but I think that's the code for sex parties.
Yeah, me too.
And that's why they all were like, oh, she's okay with all these women coming over to the house and blah, 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 and this and that. I think they all have a bunch of sex parties. And I think that's what Kiki's talking about. She's like, oh, I know Lenny and the girls because Kiki's one of the girls. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
She's one of the girls.
She's a model in Miami. Hello.
And that's why she's always like, oh, I just had this all, like, she says stuff over the top. Like, I'm going to get a UTI from all this sex and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, ew, like, keep it to yourself.
Yeah, gross. We don't need to know your vaginal pH.
Have a little mystique, Kiki. Like, girl, like, cool it down.
Like no one needs to know the pH levels of that.
Thank you. And I do think Kiki, I do think Kiki is one of the girls, and she probably has all her model friends who go to parties with men like Lenny. And they're these big, behind the scenes sex parties.
Agree.
Yeah.
Check and check.
Oh, she's back.
He had to pay the mortgage, remember?
Hello.
Oh God.
Hey, Bambina.
Hey, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I was gonna say with Anna and Marisol, I remember on a reunion, they got into like a really big fight. And I think it was Marisol didn't want to. Anna didn't want to film with Marisol anymore.
Oh, I don't remember. I don't remember that. What?
Yeah, I remember. The
Yeah, but
early
what happened?
episodes.
Like, what made that happen, though?
I don't know. I don't know exactly what it was, but I remember that it was Anna versus Marisol, and it was very. I think that's why she didn't come back, and also maybe they didn't want Anna to come back. Bravo.
And Anna was boring. Sorry, she was boring on the show. She was. I thought that's why she would come back.
That's probably has something to do with it too, but
I agree with it because she was forgettable. Because I had the same reaction. They're like Anna. I was like, who the hell's Anna? But then when they did the flashback, I was like, oh, Anna. Like,
Yeah, her
Yeah, but you
voice.
don't
Like, I
remember
remembered her voice, and it was always kind of annoying.
But you don't remember anything she did on the show, right? Because
Exactly.
she was
No,
boring.
yeah. I just remember her
Mhm.
really fast speaking voice, and it was like da 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 all the time, and you really kind of
Yeah,
didn't know what she
she
was
went.
saying.
She really tried to do a lot during that reunion. She was going after Leah like crazy, and I was just like, you should have done this during the season because it looks so out of place. You know those housewives when they have a season and they do nothing, and then at the reunion it's like, okay, now you come to
Yeah,
life.
like that's how Heather used to be too. It used to get on my nerves.
No,
She'd
that
come.
was how that was how Uba was.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
Uba
Yeah.
slept through the entire season.
Yeah, like, who
and
is
then
this
came in like a
person?
freaking banshee at the reunion, and we all were
Nah,
like, "What
Banshee.
personality is this?" Because it wasn't what we
We're
saw
like, never
all
met this
season.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I believe that Nicole knew every last detail. I mean, please. I think she was like, yes, Adriana, bring her. How much fun is this going to be? Pretending to not know. Girl.
I'm literally pouring
Yeah.
tea as we speak.
Okay,
Okay. Spill the
I'm
tea,
not
girl.
mad at
Spill the tea.
Nicole either for doing it. I'm not mad at her because I would have done it too. But what I would have done is been like, yeah, Anna's coming. Like, I don't know. I would have just leaned into the villainy.
I just like it's just I was watching kind of parts of that video with David and like behind the velvet rope or whatever it's called. And I just couldn't grasp what was going on. All I knew is that her and her daughter had extreme animosity toward her, but they weren't really saying what happened. You know what I mean? They were just like, she does this, she does that, she does that. I'm like, okay, but how does that affect you two personally? And then this daughter would kind of like hint that it was personal to her. And she's like, I'm mad because what she did to my mother. Okay, what is that, ma'am? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Maybe I don't remember all of those either. I'll have to go back and watch it. But speaking of that daughter, she did mention how she went to a party that Peter invited her to.
Oh, yes, I heard that.
That
And
she
was
invited. That she was invited to what she thought was a party. She and some friends, and
she was like,
said that
yikes.
when she pulled up, it was her and I think 2 or 3 friends, and then she said she pulled up to this house, and the only people there were Peter and 2 or 3 guys smoking from a bong, and they were like, "We're leaving." I was like, "What was the plan, Peter? What was the plan?"
No, I'm happy you brought that up. Ametista Rose says Anna's daughter was roofied at a party, and allegedly Alexia's son had something to do with it, or his friend did it allegedly.
Ew.
Oh my.
So there
She
might
didn't
be some
say
truth to that.
Wow.
Maybe she didn't want to like put her business out there. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Because if
Peter
that's
is
true,
a menace.
Maybe something really, you know what I mean, went down.
Oh my.
You know? Maybe that's why she had all that smoke for them.
Oh my.
Maybe there's something even deeper going on. Because the level of vitriol they have for Alexia and Marisol is
it's a lot.
It's a lot. So there must be something that truly happened for that level of hatred.
Exactly.
I think it's a power struggle too.
Yeah.
I think it's a power dynamic.
But she made it seem like it was personal, so that kind of makes sense what Candy just said, because it was like it was coming from a personal place. She even said it was personal, so it wasn't just like a power, like, oh, we just don't like them because they're trying to make us look bad. It was like something happened to me, kind of thing. So that kind of makes sense, I guess.
I wonder if they ever tried to pursue. I mean, if that's true, I wonder if they tried to pursue it, and if Alexia and if Herman's family was able to like
block
it, because. Why didn't we hear about it? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's scary. When I was 21, I was like at like my local bar, my hometown, And like all of a sudden I had 2 beers, and next thing I know, I watched Law and Order SVU all my life. So I wasn't stupid. I wouldn't like hold my glass out. I had like literally 2 Amstel lights, I remember, and all of a sudden I felt like my motor skills were slowing down. And luckily my friend like got me out of there. And I was like, to this day, we think like maybe the bartender was in cahoots with some guy. But it's really scary when it's happening, because you're like, oh my God, like someone wanted to make me a victim and drag me out of there or something. Like what? You know what I mean? It's really scary. So like anyone doing that, I feel like is so sinister and scary. Like, you're drugging somebody. Are you not? Like, you need an exorcist, boo-boo. Like, what is happening?
I hope that didn't happen, but I wouldn't be that shocked. Remember way back, Peter was like, yeah, you know, my dad's a gangster. He's awesome. I want to be just. I mean, I know he was probably like 18 at the time, but I'm like, I don't think that sentiment just goes away. And he filmed with him last season after he was on that freaking list.
Yep.
Yeah, he just got out of jail and he's like, yay. Yeah.
Right. And I'm honestly like, Peter, what do you go to jail for, huh? Like, ew.
Hello. I honestly think, and this is sick, I think Alexia actually wants to be with Peter, with the father.
Oh,
who's on the list. Because I think that's what she's attracted to.
What broke them up? Him just being incarcerated?
I don't know, actually.
I don't know. I think maybe him getting busted, cheating, all of that
stuff.
Yeah,
she would have been implemented probably. So she was like, I got it.
Maybe
her family was probably like, we need to get you out of this. Yeah.
Well, her parents are like doctors. So I'm sure that they were like, this is who you picked.
Yeah. They're probably like, not our little Barbie princess.
But think about it though. Her mother was a therapist. So a lot of kids of like pastors and therapists turn out to be a little cuckoo. And then also like her her father, don't forget, he was in the closet his entire life. So I think that growing up in that dynamic did something to Alexia. I mean, think about the people that she chose. She goes on to marry a drug dealer person on a certain list. Then after that, she goes on to marry a man who was closeted, just
very
like
closeted, yeah.
So I mean, I think that's literally Freud playing out. She literally married her father. You know,
it's like textbook.
I'm being serious about it.
No, I'm too. Serious. It's just like shocking how textbook it is, though.
Textbook it is. It's just like, you know what I mean? And I think that she's drawn to. I think she married Herman for safety and security, not love. But I think she wants her. The father of her kids, because there's that unhealthy part of her that wants that drama, that danger that she doesn't get from Todd.
You don't think it's like
I don't see any chemistry between her and Todd anymore.
I would think Alexia is kind of like, you know, she's a little bit older. I know it probably doesn't matter, but it seems like, you know, at her age, she's not into all that. I wouldn't assume, you know what I mean? Like, she's into all that danger and shit, and she has those boys.
I don't know. Sometimes she gives hints about Marisol, about like the olden days, kind of like you see her and she kind of has a light in her eyes. I don't know. I think maybe like there is some like long standing, like, gee, I wonder what would happen if we could have just been together and he didn't go to jail or whatever. You know what I mean? I don't know. But yeah, it's a very textbook situation, to the point where it's like, wait, can it be any more textbook?
Yeah, I agree with Sasha. She goes, I don't think Alexia loves Todd. She loves what Todd does for her. And in Mamacita, Alexia likes power.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree. And that's what I think she's attracted to with her dysfunctional ex-husband. And I think she was attracted to Todd for the money and the power. But then when she got with Todd, maybe she realized, oh, wait a minute. This isn't actually what I thought it was. Maybe he doesn't have the type of money I thought he had. Maybe it's not the life I thought I was going to have. Oh, wait a minute. Todd wants me to actually have healthy relationships with my children, not codependent ones. I don't want this.
Like, he wants to stop the telenovela from happening, and I love the telenovela.
Yeah, because like we're saying, Alexia's life is a soap opera. It's a mess.
Yeah. But in a way, there's some part of her that's making that happen, even though I don't like think everything. But part of her.
Cuban, because Cuban people's whole life is a soap opera. It really is.
And then I'm also a little confused about Lisa and her family, because I know that she doesn't have contact with her family, but I do think it's strange that we don't know anything of, like, we don't even know. We know she's from Canada, but where? Like, do we even know that? Like, we don't know anything.
I saw some old
her.
pictures of her, and she really was like, she kind of looks the same. So like, I think like, yeah, she's had some like pokes and not in her face, but like for the most part, like she's always had those lips and stuff. She was definitely always like a pretty girl, but yeah, I just want to know, why are you estranged from your family? Like there has to be a reason. Like you have a live family somewhere. Like maybe you don't have to get in all the details, but like, could you give us a little something? Like, why are you alone when you have like a live parents and family somewhere? You know?
Yeah, I thought that was very strange.
Amethysta says that is why. Amethysta says that is why Adriana always makes those side comments about her being materialistic. But Adriana is, sorry, I think somebody's microwaving something. I think I was like, what the hell? I think Adriana is just as materialistic, except for the fact she's materialistic and jealous. So the reason why she keeps calling Alexia out is because she wishes she had what Alexia has.
I believe that.
You know what I'm saying? Adriana, to me, and it's sad because she's beautiful. And if she put all the energy that she puts into being a jealous hater, she would be a lot further along. But all her energy, all of her scenes, all of her everything is Alexia, Todd. Alexia, Todd. Like, girl, what happened to your music career? Can we get another single? Are you dating?
And she can't stop talking about Lisa and Jody
owning
her own house.
I used to have sex in here, and we're looking up in the same place having sex, and I decorated. Like, girl, just you mourn the life that's over and create a new life for yourself.
Like,
but I always think
all
it's
that
weird.
Heat Alexia and Marisol were giving Nicole at the end of the episode. All that heat needs to be for Adriana when she walks in the door. Because if I was Nicole, granted, Nicole knows that, like, I do believe that Nicole knew that they weren't cool and it probably was going to pop off. But I do believe that Nicole didn't realize that she was going to get all that heat at her before the party started. I would have been like, oh, hold the door. Like, she was saying it, but she needs to say it like with a little more oomph. Like, who are y'all to be, you know what I mean? Like, back up. And then they did all that just for the next episode for them to come back in. I was like, see, y'all doing too much. Like,
right. I think
this whole big thing.
I think Nicole expected them to stay. I don't think she thought they were going to leave. I think she was hoping that Anna would show up real soon and get it started. But I would love to see that interaction.
Me
like,
too.
I can't wait. I'm like, if I don't remember their beef, like, and I've watched it from the first season, like, how could Nicole know? And it could have been like a producer moment, like whatever it is, because I think it is for like the TV, but still, them going off on Nicole, like, I don't
Nicole
think
knew though.
I think she did, but I don't think that she knew that they were gonna come at her the way that she did. I think that was like oh shit, like, hold up. I think
she thought she was going to get like a little like messy, and that was it. She didn't realize it was like that big of a quarrel between them. And she was like, oh, maybe I like stepped into something I don't want to step in.
Yeah. But don't forget what Alexia said. Alexia was just like, yeah, Dr. Nicole is playing innocent, but she wanted to bring Anna on to get back at Marisol for what Marisol did to her. Because allegedly, Marisol was the one. I'm getting there. Don't interrupt. If you didn't interrupt, I was saying.
Sorry, girl. I got antsy.
It's okay. So allegedly, remember when Larsa said the rumor that Dr. Nicole was slept her way through the hospital and all that stuff? Allegedly, that was the rumor came from Marisol. And that's why everybody was pissed at Marisol, because all of their quote rumors was coming from her. And then everybody else, and then Alexia would bring, Adriana, you're sleeping with a married man. Larsa, Dr. Nicole, you are you slept your way through the hospital and all this stuff. And remember, Marisol kept saying, I don't trust Nicole. She talks about us and blah, 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 blah. Like, Marisol gave Dr. Nicole the business. And so that's why Alexia said, no, Nicole, you know exactly what you're doing because you're on some get back at Marisol. But the gag is, in that moment, if you noticed, Alexia was saying, I'm defending you, Marisol, because Alexia in that moment did not know that Anna was spreading the rumors about her and Todd finances to Adriana. So Alexia thinks she's defending Marisol, but it turns out she's going to have to defend herself too. Because I think Anna's lying because she's come out and said, I never said that about Alexia and Todd's finances to Adriana. Girl, in my personal opinion, allegedly, yeah, you did. But now you're
I
trying to
wouldn't be surprised.
backtrack because you don't want your hands to be dirty, right? You want to keep your hands clean. So the moment that Alexia is flipping out in the scene, she doesn't even realize what Anna is saying about her and Todd's finances behind her back yet. And I think once she finds that out, it's gonna pop off even more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why Julia had that visceral from Marisol. She's like, "You're the one who's doing everything." Remember?
Yeah. At the beginning of the season, when she was like, "Marisol, you're the pot stirrer," blah 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 blah. Because last season it was
she
Marisol,
threw a rock and hit her hand.
She was the one collecting all the bones, and then she'd give the bones to Alexia. She'd give the bones to Larsa, and then they would go out and say what all the rumors on the show. And that's why Alexia this season said, "Last season I was really angry. I want to do things differently." And that's why Alexia hasn't been just holding Marisol down. She's been holding her more accountable. Mm-hmm. Because even at the party, Alexia says to Marisol, "You say I don't defend you, but I'm defending you now." Because this season, Alexia was standing more on her own and not just carrying the bones back. So I want to see.
You just reminded me from last season when Alexia was nasty last season, but I am going back and saying that Alexia is deserving all the heat that Adriana is giving her, because I remember last season when Alexia was all up in Adriana's relationship in Kool-Aid, trying to prove that
the married man
was married and he wasn't married. And when Adriana called her on that bullshit, Alexia was like a deer in headlights, like, huh? Or like the way she
whoops.
Like, I did not like that. I was like, oh no, I am going to drag you. But then it kind of messed up because Adriana stuck her foot in her mouth when she said the whole comment about her youngest son,
Frankie.
I know. She it's like they do something that's worth her visceral, but then she goes a little too far, and then we have to turn it back on her. We're like, okay, maybe if you didn't go that far, you could still be the victim, but now we got to give, you know what I mean?
But I'm like, not F that. Let's not forget that Alexia was all up in her.
Yep.
Like,
I don't forget
Alexia
that.
wants to act like, oh, Adriana's all up in my mix. Well, bitch, weren't you? You know,
what were you doing? Yeah.
What were you doing? Exactly. Like, you were really in that, and for you guys to not be friends. And I remember on a Watch What Happens Live, Andy had asked, Alexia their relationship, and she's like, I don't get why everyone wants us to be friends. Like, what's the big deal? And I was like, damn, they just really don't. Because I think that their relationship, like when they are cordial and like it could be, they have fun shoots together. But I think in real life, I think it is done. Especially, did you guys hear about how they had that like bickering thing at the airport? And
what was that about?
Called her, I don't.
What happened?
I think they seen, so like right before BravoCon, like when they were at the airport, Alexia and Adriana like cussed each other out or something, because Alexia was mad. Adriana, because there's no line that Adriana is jealous. Like,
yeah, we're like, girl,
you're bitter.
We love you, but like, come on.
But like, because she was cool when she had her dude on the scene and the boat. Remember her little boat?
That damn boat.
I'm like,
she's like, I don't want to live on a boat.
But right. She's back, no man, and she just looks like a bitter Betty. And I'm like, Adriana, like, be better than that. You got fans out. You got people that like you, girl. And I really prefer Adriana more than Julia. I prefer, like, Julia, she's like nice and everything. She gives me like a Cynthia on Real Housewives of Atlanta. Like,
you're right. They have the same energy. They have the same energy.
Like, it's just, it just doesn't work for me. Like, for me, I guess. And Larsa, I really wish they would get rid of Larsa. Like, if they could get rid of Larsa, maybe make Julia a friend and not a fool, whatever they are. And yeah, I still don't like how Gertie, when she approached Larsa, like telling her, like, I just really needed you to say sorry. And Larsa comes back defensive still. And like, we're not in preschool. That's not how you do it. Girl, how are you going to tell me how I need to hear the apology? Which is just like blatantly, I am sorry. Not.
She showed her butt with that. Like, we all see Larsa for who she is after that, because there's no coming back from that for me. Like, yeah.
I'm like, I have a nephew and I'm teaching him about his feelings and stuff. And just to go back and like, well, I'm not going to say I'm sorry, but like, here's a Kit Kat bar. Like, that's not how you do it. Like, that just annoyed me, but my thoughts.
I think we saw who Larsa was first season.
Yeah.
When she was like, none of these stupid nannies speak English. And I'm like, you live in Miami. Like are you expecting? Like, what
she doesn't even live in Miami. She lives in California.
LA.
But again, in LA, you should also
she is Crystal's neighbor.
Speak Spanish, because hello, like, he's just so derogatory.
Yeah, that first
it's like,
season,
who does she
said a lot
actually
of
think she
comments.
is?
Candy, you pointing that out that Larsa actually lives in LA, like I was like, oh my god, effing bingo! Like
she's literally neighbors to Crystal. Crystal goes, she's my neighbor.
Crystal says she's my neighbor. That's why Crystal.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, that's why she came over and disinvited Gertie.
That's why Crystal, exactly. That's why Crystal, and that's also why
whack.
And that's also why Larsa was at Garcelle's premiere.
Right.
Missing Girl. Remember, she was there.
Yeah,
and that's also
reporting
why,
for duty. Yeah,
exactly. And it's also why Larsa's condo or apartment on the show looks so staged. It looks like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It looks like an Airbnb where like everything is set up and you come in with your stuff and you can set it up. It looks like an Airbnb because she only has that for filming. Larsa does not live in Miami. No. You know what I'm saying?
Lame.
She does not live there.
So she's just like pretending this act and like this character that lives in Miami. In reality, she doesn't.
I think she's partied in Miami. Sure. You know, maybe
she
like
used to live in
Basel
Miami
and all that stuff, but not with the kids and she didn't raise her children in Miami. And she doesn't, she still have a kid in high school?
Well, we don't see her kids anymore because
they don't live in Miami.
Live in LA, right?
Exactly.
But didn't
they don't live in Miami?
What about that house that she sold?
Exactly.
Though? But what about that big house that she sold? Remember?
Well, she used to live in Miami.
Yeah.
So
that house was just sitting there for like a couple years after they divorced, right? And then meanwhile, she had been living in Miami with her kids, right? Is that what happened?
Well, wait. Well, no. I mean that house that they sold. I'm just assuming that they maybe had renters, but she lived in LA for the longest. Exactly. She was on Selling Sunset.
Yep.
What?
A few years ago, she was on Selling Sunset or $1 Million Listing, one of those, and she was looking for a house in LA.
Oh my god!
I remember she was like, "Oh, this house isn't gonna work because
You're right. I think I remember that.
I have like 18 cars.
Oh yeah, all the cars. Yes, I remember. Yeah, that just triggered
and Amethysta says, no, that house was not in Miami. It was in Fort Lauderdale. Not the same thing.
Not the same. Absolutely not.
Tasha says, what a fraud. I've been telling y'all, Larsa's whole life is a lie. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm not body shaming, but Larsa's personality matches her original face the same way Kyle's personality matches her original face. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. If you want to do a nip and a tuck and a zhuzh, knock yourself all the way out. I don't care. But when you see how they used to look originally, and it matches their personality.
Her hair and face.
You're like, oh, now I get it.
She looked like a Karen before.
Oh.
Yeah.
She looked like a whole Karen before. I'm sorry.
And now you're like, I get it. Now you're like, I get it. And no shit to that. If you want to do a nick and a tug, like knock yourself out, you know?
Yeah, she was like a little snooty soccer mom, and now all of a sudden she's like, ooh, yeah, I'm this. We're like, no, girl, you have the same personality. Bye.
Soccer mom is right. If we have to see a Bravo wedding with her and Michael Jordan's little offspring,
barf.
Oh, please.
They're not getting married.
Upset. Okay, let me just tell you.
What in the Freudian therapy?
Don't waste my time with that. Don't.
And you know who else is never going to get married? Nicole and Anthony. They are not getting married.
Never. Never. That was a shut up ring.
Yeah, they are not getting married.
It was a shut up ring. Yeah.
I hope she has a girl. That's all I hope for. I think her little
That'd
boy.
be cute.
She would be cute with a girl. And I think Nicole, she's done a lot of therapy because when her dad dropped that she has 2 other younger siblings, like,
oh my goodness, that's
crazy. Some tea. That is, and they're under 10. Like, Dad, come on. That was crazy.
My goodness.
Yeah, he was a handful. God bless her and God rest in peace. Yeah.
The life that he lived, because he
was in prison.
Well, he was a distributor of the skiing, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The skiing.
Right. So I'm like, the white powder, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Black diamond. Yep, I know.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh God, like another one.
Yeah, it's like a lot of them has this like stereotypical like 80s Miami like situation, and it's really true that was really happening a lot. And it's just interesting that a lot of these people's history of their parents and like or even them and who they dated really reflected those times back then in like such a like a you know?
Well, the rich ones, at least.
Yeah, like it really was like that. And it's just interesting to see, like, this is why they are the way they are. Like, they have those kind of like, they still have those traumas from that time. And like, almost like they're dealing with the consequences of that time. And now we're seeing, what has happened afterwards.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Huh.
Especially with like Alexia, you know what I mean?
Oh,
and
Marisol
Marisol's like, when she met Nicole's dad, she's like, oh, I know what kind of guy I would hang out with you all the time. And I was like, oh, I see you, Marisol. Like, so, they were those girls back then.
Exactly. Yeah. Because he was a cat daddy.
Not a cat daddy.
Cat daddy.
I mean, he looked good in those suits look good. I was like, I need those.
He was fly. He was very fly.
He had that charisma, you know what I mean? I guess the kids call Riz. I don't say that, but like, you know what I mean? I'm too old for that. I'm too old for that, but that's what the kids say, I guess.
That is what the kids say.
I hate it.
But yeah, they're never gonna get married. I don't think he wants anything. I don't know. I think he loves her, but he's like, yeah, we're not getting our money tangled up. I don't really know why he's like, I don't know. I mean, I get it, I guess. This kind of makes me think that I guess he does have real money. Because I know that in the past few years, a lot of us were like, is it real money or is it just like a bunch of fakery? I think it's real.
This is the thing. I think he does have real money. I think it's real. But I don't think the fact that he doesn't want to get married has anything to do with the money, because a lot of, particularly men who have a lot of money in a certain echelon, being a married man has a certain level of prestige to it.
True.
Like, there is a lot of brand equity and a lot of value in being a married man, particularly when you have children. So I don't think it's so much, and it seems like his family is traditional like that too. So I don't think it's so much that he doesn't want to marry her because of money. I think it's him. I think that there are just certain men who don't want to be married, whether it's the commitment, whether it's whatever it means. And I think that, and I don't think it's personal. I think he loves Nicole and he wants to do life with her and she's the one for him. It's not that he doesn't want to be married to her. I just don't think he wants to be married in general. But I think the reason why Nicole is attracted to him is, again, she's attracted to a man who isn't emotionally available in the way that she needs him to be, just like how her father wasn't emotionally available as she needed him to be. You know what I mean? So it's like,
right, it's familiar.
It's familiar, and she's working out that wound as that girl who felt abandoned and not chosen, not good enough for her father. He was out here dipping it and doing it. So yes, Anthony loves her. I think he really does. But I do think she still wants that marriage, because to her that means, oh, I'm good enough, I'm chosen, you know, you're not going to leave me, you're not going to abandon me, I'm the one. And so even though Anthony gives her everything, love, attention, money, he also gives her the one thing that he doesn't give her, the one thing that she actually needs, that true level of commitment. Because I mean, there's a lot of people who don't want to be married, and that's totally fine, but as long as we live in our society, marriage is the ultimate sign of true commitment. Whether or not you want to actually be married or not, I don't care who you are. And the reality of the situation is, marriage is the true universal
it still stands for something
in our society of true commitment. Not saying everybody has to be married, but it's true. And I think that's really what she wants, because that's never what she got from her father, even in his death, and rest in peace. But the last episode we saw, the dad showed up drunk and was like, hey girl, by the way, I got 4 or 5 kids out there you don't even know about.
God.
Like, what?
Yeah.
No wonder she is in relationship with a man who doesn't want to be married.
Who's who's a little emotionally distant,
Because to her, if I get him to marry me, it will fulfill the wound that she has, feeling that her father never chose her.
For sure.
Oh my! Oh, speaking of attorneys, did you see about Tom? You saw about Tom Girardi, right?
Not yet. One of my candy canes showed me. I gotta check it out.
Oh my goodness!
What happened? Give us a little.
Oh no! It's just
cliff
that
note.
He is deemed competent to stand trial. I was like,
Duh.
It's about
Right?
to go down. And little Miss
Yeah.
Erica, I hope she loses her damn mind because I'm done with her little I'm repenting act. Girl, keep God's name out your
I'm
mouth.
on the come up. Yeah, I'm getting it all back. It's like, girl.
Well, my thing is, what happened? What are you going to tell now, Erica? Like, you told us about his mental decline. Now what?
Exactly.
What
More
So
lies.
so now you're gonna come up with a story and you expect us to believe you? Yeah, no.
I guess.
And you know how she was lying because you know how he's allegedly, I mean, he is in, but obviously it's a front. The whole like memory house,
Memory house.
whatever it's, you know what I mean? The memory house.
Yeah.
But what medical facility housing people allow you to bring in big handles of vodka?
Vodka.
Because remember when he got indicted, she was spotted at the supermarket in Burbank.
Absolutely insane. Yeah.
In Burbank, and she got that huge thing of vodka, and she was heading over to because he at that time his facility was in Burbank, so she went to go get the vodka, and then she went to the Burbank facility where he's at. I don't know any facility that's like, yeah, you could come on. These are
medical facility.
These are our patients who have dementia and Alzheimer's, and
let's get them hammered.
This is a memory facility program. Sure, bring your, Ralph's vodka right on in.
Ralph's.
Bring your Tito's.
Like,
bring your
what?
I'm done.
Like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, excuse me? Like, what? And you want to sit here and tell me this man is incompetent? If he's incompetent and he has so much dementia, the fact that he got indicted would not faze him. There would be nothing to mourn or to grieve over because he would not have the wherewithal to understand what was happening to him.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, girl, bye. You're nothing but a fraud. You're nothing but a liar. And also, who did they pay off at these things? Because I'm pretty sure if I went to, grandma in the memory house with a big old Ralph's handle of vodka, they'd be like, "Excuse me, Candy, you need to turn around and leave. You can't get our patients
Please exit the facility with that whole bottle. Thank you.
Stage left, with your Vita tequila. Like, get the hell out of here."
Vita. So true. That was that was ridiculous. It's like, what in the cartoon is happening here?
Yeah.
It was a whole.
And Matissa's, they have their own medication. They don't need Erica's vodka. Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and everyone knows that alcohol literally can, excessive drinking can cause memory loss. So they're not going to allow a person who has any kind of mental decline to get full on hammered. Stop.
Sasha says, everybody's a fraud. It doesn't stop. Can you make a t-shirt with some type of fraud saying, and I will buy your merch ASAP? Okay. Thank you for that, Sasha. I will. I was thinking about some new merch myself. So
yeah, you should do Housewife fraud or something. Yeah.
Housewives.
I'll figure out a good tagline, and I'll do that.
What was that quote you always say? You don't believe in coincidence. You believe in conspiracy.
That's a great one, Jacob. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yep, and have a little magnifying glass.
Yeah.
And your avatar. You should coin your avatar, a cute avatar, so we know it's oh, there's Candy. Got her.
Yes. Yes.
But wait a minute. So is Fort Lauderdale really far from Miami? Or is it close?
It's close. It's an hour, 45 minutes, right?
Oh, is that close?
I think it's one
I don't
of those,
know,
DMV situations.
Yeah.
When you're not living in the DMV.
It's in the general South Florida area, but it's not quite Miami. It's you would if you're going to Miami, it's going to be a little bit of a drive, just like you're in the DMV. If you're going to DC, it's going to be a little bit of drive. AKA
an hour away.
Yeah.
Because I know that none of them really live
one of my
in
best friends
Miami.
went to school there.
Did you guys laugh? Did you guys laugh when Lisa pulled up in the little
the Honda
mini car?
That was a good scene.
I was like, what the hell? Did Larsa tried really hard not to laugh? I was like, okay, that's the only time. I was like,
I love seeing Larsa in that car, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
I would have loved it. The only thing that spoiled it was when she was like, "This is my housekeeper's car or my nanny's car."
That was weird.
And I was like, "You didn't need to throw them under the bus."
Yeah.
No, it took away the key part of it because it was a vibe until she was kind of like, "This is a poor person's car. This is my help's car." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that was the only thing. I was like, "Damn, if you wouldn't have said that, it would have been." Because it was a vibe. It was a scene. It was a vibe.
Like, I wanted her to be like, woohoo, hotties in a hoopity, let's go. You know what I mean?
If she would have just said, oh, I rented it for the day or something like that. But to be like, the girls want me in a poor person's car, I borrowed it from my help. Like, that's what she said.
Girl,
yes. Like, ouchies, not liking that.
Let's be for real. It don't help that you're white. So we're
exactly.
We're going to be a little cringe. You know, it's a little cringe.
It was cringe.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
It was giving Ramona a stinger.
Just like when she called Jody, and I was like, I get that she was trying to be funny, but I was like, girl, that the joke just did not land to me.
Yeah, that was awful.
To me,
I was like,
from
really?
a man's point of perspective, like he opened up to you on national TV, like he was dead ass serious. Like, I need you to check in with me. And I think that I do think that she checks in with him off camera. Like, I hope so. But I think she was just trying to like be funny and like make a joke about it. Like, oh, I made a timer to check in with you to see how you're feeling. Yeah, to me, that's how I felt. I felt like the way she was saying it, like, hey, my timer just went off to check in with you. Like, my feelings are not a joke, bitch. Like, me being stressed out.
Chels,
It shouldn't be like a scheduled performative thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. And I felt like that's where she was getting off. Like, I think that she was trying to like be funny
mocking
about
it.
Like,
yeah.
Also, like mocking it. Yeah. Like, I'm calling you to check up on you. Like, my feelings are not funny. Like, that was a serious moment. And Larsa was like, you're not supposed to tell him that you're actually like made a timer and all that stuff. I get the sense of like where she was coming from, but like at the same time, I just was like, Lisa, that kind of fell. It was also a little cringe because like I don't know if he really.
Yeah, it's not doing what you thought it did, Lisa.
Actually, I had the opposite reaction. I actually thought it was very sweet of her because if you actually watch what she said and how it all went down, she was like, you know, in my marriage, I was beaten down. I wanted to communicate. It didn't happen. So now I'm trying to like learn how to do that. And then for him to say, you know, he needs me to check in more. And so she scheduled it to remind herself because she does have the kids. She does have this and that. I actually thought it was really sweet. And I thought it was, and she wasn't saying like, oh, I did it to like clown you. And then Larsa talking about, you don't tell, the most performative chick on the show, having a 5-day welcome back party for Marcus. Come on. I actually thought that Lisa was being really sweet in that moment. And I actually think Jody, particularly his personality, understood what she was doing by scheduling, and he probably really appreciated it. I took it the complete opposite way. I think she was actually really trying because also in the scene, she says to Larsa herself, she goes, I know that I've been really consumed about what's going on with me. And I want to check in with you to see what's going on with you because I know I've been really consumed with myself. So she was actually using that as self-awareness. So I took that scene the complete opposite way. But I do agree with the scene about the car. And it was very tone deaf and cringy when she was like, yeah, this is like my nanny's or like my housekeeper's car. That was very tone deaf and insensitive and not cool. But the thing about scheduling the Jody stuff, I think she was actually sincerely trying to listen to what he said and make it work. And there's nothing wrong with scheduling stuff. It's just how different people operate. That's kind of how I took it.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I like a good schedule, but
sorry, go ahead, Tosh.
No. I was just saying a quick comment about. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like a little scheduling sometimes.
And also, Jody's personality is very much
he's rigid,
regimented like that.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think that he took it like, oh, you're talking about like you're doing a diss on my manhood by checking. No, he said to her on camera, I want you to check in more. And then in a couple next scenes, she's like, hey, I heard you and I'm checking in. How are you? I actually thought it was.
Yeah, you're right.
Like
I'm changing my mind. I like that.
Yeah.
I hear and I agree with what you're saying. I just feel the way that she came off, I think it could be read both ways. I think it could be read like she is trying, but then the way like when you watch it and you see how she's talking to him, to me, it just looked like you're kind of being funny at the same time. Just like my point was how I felt about, you know, him calling. And then, you know, he said, he was like, thank you for calling in. But I think that he really needs that like behind scenes camera, like behind the scenes, not just like, oh, you're at the dinner date, like with your girlfriend, let me call you real quick on camera. Like, I need you to check on me.
But I think I agree. I think for any relationship, it needs to be on camera and behind the scenes. But I think the fact that he addressed it to her on camera, then she needs to address it on camera. Because he said it to her on camera. That's why we know. And so for her to make it right on camera, that is her honoring him. Because if she didn't do it off camera, we wouldn't know. We would just be thinking, oh, he's saying to her, enough with the Lenny stuff. I'm here for you. All of that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
It's the way she delivered it. Like, I agree with you. Like, you know, when they say your apology needs to be as loud as your disrespect or whatever, or like where it is. So yeah, you're right with that. Like, it needs to be on camera. But I think the way she did it to me was like distasteful. Like, it could have been seen as you're trying to be funny with someone's feelings. That's where I get like, my point is like, hey, I'm just checking in with you. Like, I set an alarm. Like, you don't really need to set an alarm, but hey, I don't have kids. I don't have any responsibilities anymore. I lost my dog. So like, I know how it can be when you have kids. I have nephews. So like, you know, setting an alarm, you know, for things is right. But I think that,
I think it's just, it's also just creating a habit as well. You know, it's like if you aren't used to working out, you schedule going to the gym at 6 o'clock in the morning or going for a run at noon. You know, it's just creating the habit of it. And like she said, I'm not used to this. She's like, I'm used to begging Lenny to pay attention to me, to communicate with me. I'm not used to
someone
asking me to communicate with them. So if you go from a dysfunctional relationship to someone who wants to have a functioning relationship with you, I don't see anything wrong.
It's going to be an adjustment
with using tools to upgrade and to adjust into that function. So she's like, okay, I'm not used to someone saying, hey, check in on me. I'm not doing good. I'm stressed out. I got a lot going on. And she's like, wait a minute, you're inviting me into your life. So if she's not used to that, which is what she said, she was being very honest about that. I don't see anything wrong with scheduling it. You know, sometimes people schedule, like I will schedule, like I'm going to journal at this time today. I'm going to do this because I'm trying to create the habit.
I have ADHD, so I'm no stranger to a schedule myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Sasha, that's right. Sasha says Lisa has ADD. She needs structure. I see what you're saying, Candy.
That's how I am too.
Yeah.
When you have ADHD, like scheduling and structure is very, very like important. So like that would make sense. So like maybe like, you know what? I'm changing my mind because a lot of times when you do have that or you need that, sometimes it could be misunderstood and maybe like you're just trying to make light of the situation because you have to do that. And you're like kind of making a joke. It's kind of like self-deprecating kind of like, you know what I mean? And like, maybe it wasn't to necessarily mock him.
I think she was also nervous.
Yeah.
I think it was more like a nervous thing. So I see how Chels took it that way because if someone's nervous, they might kind of come across weird or anything.
Yeah, when you're nervous or like you might like laugh about it a little bit.
I could see that being as nervous too. Like, hey, like I'm just calling because I set an alarm.
I'm checking in. Yeah.
I want to make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah.
Girl. But then when Larsa's like, you don't need somebody, like when someone you care about, like you shouldn't have to. So to me, I'm like, look, I'm just sitting back and reviewing. I think she will get better with time because I think Lisa can be like self-absorbed. So she doesn't like, come on, when she made that comment, like when I was little, like that was another cringe moment. Like
what did she say?
When she was talking about her daughter, when she took her daughter to ballet and she was like, when I was in ballet, like I told the lady that I should go first because I'm the prettiest. And I'm like,
oh shit.
Girl, that's just another like cringeable thing. And I just think that she can be very like not selfish, but like just not thinking about others. So I think
that's self-absorbed.
Self-absorbed and like, you know, her setting the alarm. It all makes sense. But that's just
that's why she even said when she got with Larsa, she said to her, you know, Jody said, I don't check in on him and I'm not, you know, and I've been really, and she had the awareness and been absorbed in my stuff. She even said to her, I want to check in on you. How are you doing? So to me, that was really like her being genuine. It wasn't like, oh girl, let me go call Jody. My timer went off. It was more like I heard this feedback, this constructive criticism, and I'm trying to
let me apply it to other areas.
Apply it and be better. And I think Larsa, to me, is kind of trash for her response. You know what I mean? She was clowning her. She was like, why you gotta set a timer? It should be in your heart. Like, girl, you just did a 5, like Marcus literally went to Atlanta to hook up with the girls he's hooking up with. And then he came back to Florida to be with you. And you threw this man a 5-day going away party. To me, what is thirstier and what is more unhealthy and what is more codependent? Someone whose partner says, hey, I'm struggling right now. I need you to show up for me more. And they're like, okay, I'm going to put it in the calendar. When I get it, it's going to remind me, I'm going to do this. I'm going to show up for you, versus someone who's doing all this performance stuff that's based on a bunch of BS. I would not take any relationship advice from Larsa Pippen.
Okay.
She would be the last person I'm listening to. She, like, Lisa needs to keep scheduling. She keeps getting those notifications, and she needs to keep Jody with his $10 million butt funding her life. Okay?
Yep.
So if I had a Jody with the $10 million funding the life, it would be in the calendar.
Wait, can we talk about
calendar it up, sis? Don't listen to Larsa.
Can we talk about how trifling Lenny is? And Candy, you said it. You pointed it out. Somebody else pointed it out, but then when you said it, I was just like, it's so true. Because Lenny, with wanting the kids 100%, I'm like, because when I heard that, I was like, why does he want the kids 100%? Like, he doesn't take care of them. And I thought of the nanny and everything, but
because he doesn't want to pay child support.
Yes, for the next 18 years. And I was like, oh my God, how trash can you be? Like, those are your children. They are going to suffer without their mom. And like, their mom is
he doesn't care.
100%. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. And I just thought that was a wow moment. Like, I wouldn't have, this is why I love the recaps that people do on these shows. Cause I feel like when you just
get to pick up on those little things. Yeah,
you pick up on the little things. Cause I was just like, why is Lenny doing that to her? I just didn't, I thought for one little second, for a puny second, I was like, does he really want the kids? Like, he really wants his new wife to take care of the kids? But no, it's not about the kids. It's about him not wanting to pay her. Yep. And I feel bad. I hope she does. I hope she is successful in her, because what's she want to do? A divorce company? She wants to do like a mutual, like, divorcing company. And I think that's good. And I hope she does well in that, because I feel bad for Lisa. Even though all the cringe moments, I still love her. I love Lisa.
Agreed. And I think Lenny wanting to take the kids, I agree 100%. It's because he doesn't want to pay her. But I think it's even a level deeper than that. It's he wants to punish her. Mm-hmm. Because when you think about, obviously not every mother, but the majority of mothers in the world, the biggest way to hurt them is to take their children.
Yeah.
And I think that is really what it is. I think he really wants to punish her. I think, yes, the money, because that's a way to control her and manipulate her. But I think the taking of the kids, and it's also a way to humiliate her. Because what is the best way to humiliate a mother? Is
to make them unfit.
Get their kids taken away.
To say that she's unfit to take care of her own children. That is the ultimate level of embarrassment.
Slander their motherhood,
Exactly. To be deemed an unfit mother, that is the ultimate disrespect and punishment. And so that's why I think he's like sadistic. I think he gets off on controlling her and hurting her and punishing her and humiliating her, because everything he's done it reminds me of like those like humiliation rituals. Everything that he's done is to humiliate her. The public having sex with the girls, the sex parties at his house with the models, all of it is very, very humiliating at a woman's core. I don't want to have sex with you. I want to have sex with these women. And not only am I going to do it in your face, I'm going to do it in our home.
You know what's weird? I feel like that's really common though, when men kind of like switch up their wives that they had children with for like a new like midlife crisis. They always go about it so ruthlessly, as if the wife did something to them. It's almost like they take out their projected anger and frustration of getting older or whatever on that ex-spouse. And it's like, usually the ex-spouse did not deserve that kind of like level of like visceral, but for some reason it's like manifest in like, oh, and I'm going to do this. It's like, you're already leaving me for someone younger. Like, that's humiliating. Can you chill? Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And Sasha says, what has Lisa really done to Lenny to make him this vow? That's the thing. She didn't do anything to him. This is who he is. This is who he is. And then the thing is, if this is who he is publicly, imagine how he's been privately.
Yikes.
Terrible.
Because private's always 100 times worse than public. So if he is this vile publicly, imagine what she's been through privately.
Do you guys believe that with what we've seen in the past shows, do you believe that Lisa was truly blindsided? Like, do you think she might have felt like this was coming? Or do you think that she was dealing with what she was dealing with, like that Lenny can have his side pieces, but do you think that she thought Lenny would like ever finally leave her?
I think she was blindsided that he actually pulled the plug. I think that she thought that he would do his thing and do his dirt and this, that, and the third, but that he was more married to the image of having this, quote, family, that she was somehow protected, that he would never destroy that. So I do think that she was blindsided in the sense that he actually was willing to divorce her.
Yeah.
I think she thought that they would maybe live forever unhappily, but I don't think she ever thought that he would actually leave. Yeah. So do I think she was blindsided by what he was doing? Absolutely not. But do I think she was blindsided that he actually left? Yes. Because there are a lot of people who are living very unhappily, smile in your face, and behind the scenes, there's a lot of hell breaking loose behind closed doors.
Yeah.
So do I think she was surprised by what he was doing? No, she knew, and she was fighting it behind the scenes. But I do think she was blindsided that he actually wanted to leave.
Went through with it. Like he went through with it.
Yeah. And the only reason why he did that is because the little succubus that he's with now is like feeding into his ear. But the girl he's with now, she's nothing but, I don't know, she seems demonic to me. She's nothing but like a parasite. I think she's going.
She looks like a little mini. She looks like a little mini like version of Lisa.
Did you see her interview?
I think she's going to suck Lenny dry for everything she can get and then spit him out.
She most certainly is going to do that.
The way she talks, it's just like, it's giving succubus. It's giving, I know exactly what I'm doing. Like, I'm going to seduce, suck, and destroy. Did you guys see her little interview, how she talks? She's like, I am very educated, and I just want peace for the world. Like, she literally talks like that. I'm not joking.
No.
She's like, people don't understand the love that we have and just don't believe what they put in the press. I feel like I'm nailing her accent, guys.
There you go. And the daytime Emmy goes to Natasha.
I'm like, whoa, I'm starting to scare myself.
Can I do a sidebar? Because I just thought about something about Lenny's ex looking like Lisa.
Yeah.
Did you guys see Mia's new man? Kind of looks like Gordon's offspring or something.
Oh,
like
God.
A second replaced cousin.
Ew, I saw that picture and I was just grossed out. I was like,
you haven't seen the front face, Candy?
No.
Front face.
Oh, okay. Yeah, when you see that, I know you'll break it down. You'll find some time. But I was like, I said absolutely not. And then I like looked at him again and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, he kind of looked like a 20-year younger version of Gordon. And I think she's gonna suck him dry too. And then she's gonna find the next one. But
Mia's totally a succubus. I got that. And I almost like, I understand that he is a dog like Gordon, but I feel bad for him. She sucked him dry, ruined the family's business, ruined his family connection with his brothers. And now she's off engaged, parading and like hiring paparazzi to come as she's wrapped around this new man. Like, this is embarrassing. Like, what? Like, she's awful.
I just feel bad.
Yeah, she sucked Gordon dry.
That poor man.
I think the reason why his brothers turned on him was because of Mia.
Absolutely. I think entirely.
Yeah. And then he's out here fighting, trying to save, his legacy and his
money. She ruined the family. Yeah.
And then she's out here, dipping it and doing it.
She destroyed like everything. Like, she literally sucked his wealth, ruined his family's connection. Like, now he has a broken relationship with his family. And now he's just left alone while you're like out. Like, Mia, you're ruthless. Listen, you.
I don't feel bad for Gordon either, though.
No, he was dogging it up and liking it when it had it.
Said she was busting it wide open on the beach while he was definitely married.
He was married. I mean, that's why that karmic law.
It's like you play clown games, you get clown prizes.
Yeah. But I'm like, Mia, you're not moving any smoother either. So I'm like, no, your time will shine too, my dear. And it's not always
just give it a minute. It's not if, it's just when.
Your karma's not always with you. Like, you have children. I don't, you know what I mean? Sometimes that ish passes down. And I just wouldn't want that for her children or anything like that. And I just, same kind of like with the Larsa thing. Like, Larsa, you like definitely disrespected her.
Larsa just gives me like witch vibe. She's scary.
It's just karma based. Like, y'all will reap what you sow, like, indefinitely. Don't think that because it's been 5 or 10 years later and don't think anything's ever happened to you.
And this life is only temporary. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are you doing all this for? I don't know.
I was going to ask, do you guys know if Lisa and Lenny had a prenup?
They did, and she's fighting the prenup.
Oh.
Yeah, she's fighting the prenup. Yep.
Lisa needs to go see Sutton.
That part.
Lisa needs to go see Sutton.
Sutton needs to go get her
Sutton.
guy and they can crunch some numbers.
I want Sutton to be like my mentor. Like, you
Me
can just like
too.
take me under your
I
wing.
love
Sutton.
her.
I was thinking about her today. Name it.
Name him.
Name
Sutton.
him.
Name him.
Give us that accountant. Name him.
Name him. Name him. She said another one when she was talking to Dorit. Remember when Dorit went off on her? She's like, I'm trying to say it, but you won't let me talk.
And she's like, nope, I'm going with this. Name him.
Why'd you say it? Why'd you say it?
Why'd you say it?
Why'd you say it?
Because she wasn't given the right answer. She was like, every time she responded, it was some stupid little excuse. She's like, no. Why'd you say it? Oh, no, that's still not the answer. Why'd you say it? We can do this all night.
Sorry,
Why'd you say it?
I can't wait
love
for
it.
Thursday, Beverly Hills Day.
You guys, tonight, 25 years later, we will finally see that damn phone call. However, we all know what it is by now because it's been 25 years, so it's not going to be very anticlimactic, but whatever.
I'm annoyed. Yeah. It's not even going to be about her.
No, it's about the stupid her being that blogger.
Yeah. We don't care about that.
And this has lasted too long. Like the fact that we even skipped a week. Remember how, Charles, you and me were like, no, I think it's going to be next week. And that still was a stretch. The fact that it's been like 2 more episodes and then a skip week and now, like, it's crazy.
At least I hope they talk about it on the reunion. I just want somebody to ask Monica, like, so you came on the show knowing you didn't pay for your services that you got done by Heather.
You've been blogging about these women low key. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I guess the blog. I guess that's really bad, right? Like, I don't really know. I don't really care about the blogging thing. I want them to.
I just think it's weird. It means that you were like a creepy stalker fan, and now you're pretending like you're like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true too.
It's very ingenuous.
It's the lying for me. Like, I don't care that she's a blogger, but it's the lying part.
Yeah,
deception. That's what makes it creepy. Truth. That's what makes it creepy is the lying. Like, girl, if you were doing a blog, just do the blog. Who cares? Do what you gotta do. But like, it's the lying that makes it psychotic.
Yeah.
But you notice how she told Heather when she was like, I would totally do something like that.
Yeah, because like, people always tell themselves.
And Heather was like, wait, what?
So later
don't
on,
say that.
Like, I didn't lie. I told you that I would do something like that. Let girl Monica go on. You're messy and you play dirty, and we're just. I'm not here.
You're weird. This isn't how you do it here. Bye.
I'm not here for it. I think that Monica, because I kind of liked her in the beginning. There were some things that I was like, okay.
I never did. I was like, nope.
I could say I didn't. I wasn't like, oh, I love Monica or I like her. I was like, but I was like, let me feel her out, you know. And as episodes were going on, I was just
there were definitely times I wasn't like 100% like against her, but like I never really trusted her. I always thought there was something about it. Wasn't sure what it was. There was like literally 5 seconds that maybe I had a little empathy for her, but then I was like, wait, no, this is also BS. Here we go. You know what I mean?
I think it's the whole BS how she got on, the whole like you're not a housewife and you're struggling, like not to discredit, you know, there are women out there that are single parents and like they are struggling, but that's not what this show was made off of. We don't need to like switch things up like on that side of the spectrum.
Yeah, this isn't like single like and struggle show. This is Real Housewives. Like I know, like I have empathy
single
for everyone,
divorced, I guess.
But like, but we're watching this for like an escape, and we want to see opulence, and that's like why we watch the show, and this is why the show actually was created. So for you to go about doing it, it's just weird. It's giving jealous. It's giving creep because of the lying, like you said. I just don't like the lying either. I think lying is creepy.
It's the lying part that makes it weird and scary. Like, who cares what her profession is? Nobody cares about that. Mm-mm. It's the fact that she lied about it and hid it. That's what makes it scary. And then the fact that she sent the DMs to Meredith and everybody.
That's and she was actively scheming
and then
like
tried
doing
to make
it.
Everybody think it was Meredith who sent the DMs when she sent the DMs not only to Meredith but also to herself. That's the psychotic part.
Because you know that
sitting there DMing yourself under
she studied these people.
is psycho. Like that's the crazy part.
Yeah, she definitely like
Psycho
with
behavior.
Jen and just watching on her own and blogging, she definitely like studied these characters. So she knew that Meredith would have been a believable target because she's had some history of like kind of like being a little messy with this. And she knows like the situation with Lisa. So she was like full on strategizing, masterminding this whole thing. It's creepy.
You make a
think
good
about
point,
how she
Candy.
also and think about how she also was Jen Shaw's assistant. Like she weaseled her way into Jen's life, and then she was allegedly the one who took all the videos of Jen going against the fashion designer
The fashion design.
and then leaked them, and now she's best friends with the fashion designer. Like that's also very suspect to me. Like I get it.
He's designing her stuff,
You
right?
can have yes, like you can have horrible boss days or whatever, but to purposely infiltrate somebody's life and business and then purposely take private videos and photos of them and then leak them online is disgusting and psycho.
Yeah.
Like imagine you're either on your job or you're an entrepreneur and somebody becomes your personal assistant and then they start taking private videos of you and messages of you and then they have a whole Instagram account dedicated to exposing you.
Yeah, it's vulnerable to have an assistant
that
like
is
that.
what she did. That's what this girl did.
So was she
purposely infiltrate this woman's life.
Was she just that? So the blogger. So
yeah, like whether you're a fan of Jen or not, it's still crazy.
Wait. What were you saying, Charles?
Was her blogger page going after all the housewife girls on Salt Lake, or was it only like Jen, or like and what you said about Meredith? Because I didn't put two and two together with that. How she's starting to how she wanted everyone to get on Meredith's back, for starting the rumors, but it was really her. But was she talking about all the girls in the blog?
So on the blog,
who were the main people?
So on the blog, she was talking on the it was a blog / Instagram's accounts, and she was talking about all of the girls. However, she did infiltrate Jen's as an assistant, Jen's little circle, and she was the one to leak allegedly Jen's stuff. But then when all the DMs were coming out about what's her name, Angie, and all that stuff, I think that's what's going to be tied to one of Monica's Instagram's account. So she was sending DMs to herself and she was sending DMs to Meredith. But then she was acting like it was Meredith who was doing it, but she was sending it to herself. That's why, remember you were saying the scene when she was like, that's something I would do. When she said that's something I would do, she was referring to sending DMs to herself. And then that's why Heather said, no, you wouldn't. Don't say that.
Wait, Candy and
That's what she said.
Do you think that she is responsible for sending that information about Lisa last year to Meredith?
No. I think the Lisa Meredith stuff was Lisa Meredith and Jen doing stuff with each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
And didn't
all right, false alarm.
But that's why Meredith was the perfect patsy. Because she had already done something in a similar messy way, with the messiness with the SEC filings and finding DMs. So she was the perfect fall guy because everyone was just like, oh, Meredith, you did this with Lisa last season, blah, 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 blah. But that's actually not what she did with Lisa. It was different, but the same. And that's why Meredith was the perfect patsy fall person.
This level of strategy behind this woman is what's concerning and giving serial killer energy.
I was gonna say she's like textbook borderline personality disorder.
Yep.
Yeah, it's giving almost histrionic, like Amber Heard-ish kind of situation.
Definitely borderline, because remember when her friend Tanisha, her ex-friend Tanisha, came out and said how she lied and said her daughter was hit by a car in order to get her to talk to her.
Please call me.
Please call me. That is I'm
that's like Amber Heard. Yeah,
that's
scary.
That's really scary when somebody is willing to do that and to be that manipulative and that dark. That's why there's something wrong with her. And Monica now, she is so thin. And she's like, it's depression. I'm like, it's Ozempic.
It's Ozempic.
She's
like no one is buying that, sweetie.
She is very thin. Very thin.
I didn't even think about that.
She dropped. She just got like real thin over this past year. She looks completely different now. It's really wild.
I didn't even think about the whole, Candy, how you tied that in with the Meredith and wanted everyone to be on her back. But who do you think that Monica is going to blur out the whole black eye situation? Because if anything, I'm more curious about that than like her being the blogger, because we're going to find out who gave Heather the black eye.
Really?
I honestly don't
That's
even
what they
care.
said. You don't care? I mean, you're
don't.
right. It's really not that.
It's
You're
like, wait, you're right.
But I
mean,
guess I care about that more than the freaking Monica stuff.
More than the Monica thing.
It's just because we know now. There's no surprise. It's taking too long.
If it was an actual surprise, I would be like, oh my God, I would care. But since like we all know, it's kind of like, I already went through the surprise.
They gave us a month to investigate, so we found out already, and now we're not excited.
And like I already called it. I called it like a month ago. I called it a month and a half ago.
Right?
Remember when we did that live, and I said, you guys, my theory is that it's not Meredith, that it's Monica behind all of this. And people were like,
that's
no,
what they get for stalling.
And I was like, no, you guys. I was like, you have to actually listen and watch. And I was like, she's setting Meredith up to take the fall. That's why she went to Lisa and was like, oh, Lisa, I want you to be the one to come with me to visit my family. By the way, guess what Meredith did? And I was like, when has Monica ever confided in Lisa Barlow? Ever.
Yeah.
She was doing it to set up Meredith. And I said that from day one. People were like, no, it's Meredith. And then next week, it's Monica, the blogger. And I was like, see?
Every time you say Monica, the blogger, in my head, I just see the avatar and I get like a chill down my spine.
I forgot about that.
Did you guys see her and her mom? Well, her mom kind of tweeting on Twitter or X, whatever it's called now, where she was like basically saying she wasn't the reason of Monica not seeing her family in Bermuda, and how like Monica kind of portrayed it. And I was just like, dang, that's messed up. And then Monica came out and said that like it wasn't her mom. I don't know. I feel
Did
like
she? I didn't hear that she finally said that.
She cleared it up and said that like it wasn't her mom, but I still feel like
probably because her mom was like, I will sue you at this point.
It's bad. Like their relationship is bad altogether. Cause I'm like, I don't know, that whole scene and how she was crying so bad. Did anyone peep how Heather was looking at Monica in the bus when she was crying? Heather was looking like, girl, I don't think she was buying it. It's
Heather peeped her when she said, I've seen this before with Jen and I'm starting to get a little worried. And I think that she was like, from then on, she kind of was like tiptoeing around her, like kind of like not showing that she was like fully onto her, playing along with it just enough to not like let her know that she knows. But like, I think Heather, peeped her at that moment.
I think Heather peeped her. This is where I think they all really peeped her, was at the Greek Easter party.
Easter.
Mm-hmm. That was the true beginning of the end for Monica, was that Easter party. And then I think from there they kind of tiptoed around it. But I think whatever went down at that Easter party that we did not see, because we only saw the tip of the iceberg.
She threw a shoe, right? That almost
exactly.
Did it.
And they were all like production, and they all said production was protecting insane. Monica. So imagine what else.
I don't like that. Do. Yeah.
And so I think that was the beginning of the end. And I think that's when they all were like, there's something actually off with this person.
When you guys brought it up and I watched the season from the beginning, I was saying to myself, I don't see that coming for Monica at all. But it seems like as it played out, like she made a huge switch in production has a lot to do with that.
That's weird. I don't like that.
I think they want her back.
Why do you think they're doing that? Why do you think like they would back someone so like scandalous like that? I know like they want to show and stuff, but the fact that it's also someone that's like talking about them and like seeing the level of manipulation, like why would they like?
Because production is stupid, and
are they lazy and they just want to like let it go?
Stupid. I mean, and it's not like Bravo hasn't backed criminals before.
True.
Yeah.
Look at Teresa. They literally paused a show for a person going to federal prison. Yeah, so you want to ask a question about why does Bravo want her back? And also they don't know how to do their jobs. They don't know. This is the thing. They don't know how to get the Housewives back to where it was supposed to be. So this is what it just has devolved into. They don't know how to get it back to behind the pearly gates. Yeah. They don't know how to.
That could be because
and I also think that they don't understand. Like, I don't think that they understand the level of like how psychotic what Monica did actually was, because everybody, just because somebody is a producer or an executive does not mean they're smart, does not mean they're intuitive, does not mean that they have any type of clue. I think that they think, oh, ratings, and they're talking in drama. I don't think they actually understand the level of
Their surface
psychoticness
level.
this woman is.
But didn't Monica also participate in
They're underestimating it.
In Jen's trial? Like, didn't she testify against her?
Jen didn't go to trial. Remember, she pled guilty. But she was a person,
there was none.
So she was a person who turned state's evidence, basically being like, I have evidence against her. I'm going to give it to you so you don't come after me. And if she had gone to trial, then she would have testified against her.
Okay, that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah.
So she like snitched on her to save herself.
Exactly. Like, I have the goods on the this is the person you really want. I have some information on it. So I'm going to give you that information so you don't come for my little self. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. I'm starving.
I know. I need to make dinner.
But
I'm starving
Happy
too.
New Year, guys.
This was fun. I missed y'all.
I know. We will be back tomorrow for Salt Lake City.
Yay. We're going to have so much to talk.
So much fun.
All right. Thanks for having us again. Bye-bye.
Of course. Love you guys. You too.
Bye.
Mwah. Thank you, Natoski. Thank you, Chels. Thank you, Bambina. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Gossip News, who came on but wasn't able to come up. Thank you, everybody in the chat box. SW, Adam, Sasha, Foxy, who else is in here? Juanita, what is up? Ametista. Everybody, if I missed your name, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get anybody I didn't get. Foxy, Ametista, SW. Everybody, thank you so much. Giovanna, everyone. Rena, yes. Thank you, guys. Good night, everybody. Happy New Year. Love you guys. Stay safe. As always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.